Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV begins right now. As always, hello, thanks for listening and watching. Like and subscribe if you're watching on Warchant TV. Share the love, everybody. And before we get started, there's Corey on my left, Ira's on my right. I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening. And yay, sausage. Yay, sausage.
First time in studio in a minute.
Couple
it has
weeks,
been.
A few weeks. Yeah.
Feels good.
Good
Feels good to be back.
It does. Register Sausage sponsoring the show as always, and we thank them. We thank Ben. We thank the fine folks at Register Sausage, who we've turned into a giant
Juggernaut.
A juggernaut in the sausage field.
I haven't eaten in a minute, and I'm pretty sick about it. Like I'm tired of not eating Register sausage. I haven't had the andouille in so long I forget what it tastes like. Other than it was glorious. That's the only thing I remember about it. So I need to refresh my taste buds.
You think if there's a reboot of Ferris Bueller, they'll do like the
Sausage King of Tallahassee?
Yes.
And it'll be Ben?
Yes.
Sure. Yes, of course.
They'll just rewrite that
right.
that part. He is the Abe Robin is the Ben of Chicago.
Right.
Registermeats.com is the website. They will have it shipped to you really anywhere in the country, we think, including Alaska. If you stay in one location long enough. I don't even know. Do they have fixed addresses in Alaska?
It's all P.O. boxes.
Yeah, well, you're on the run.
Yeah, it's P.O.
You're
boxes.
on the run in Alaska. You're not going to want to get locked down.
If you know you're going to be in a place for 3 or 4 days, that Greyhound station, whatever it is, you can order it and they'll deliver it to you. Otherwise, anywhere else in the 48 states have delivered. Or if you're in the Southeast, man, it's expanding every day. Go into your local supermarket. If they don't have it, protest peacefully and get Register Sausage in your life.
So where do we want to begin? This is a good week. Yesterday, I came on the air and talked a little bit about transfer portal stuff because that's where all of our eyes are. And just because basically we'll know by Sunday, right? That's when, if you're going to play this fall, you have to have announced whether or not you're putting your name in the portal by Sunday. So that opens up the field. We get Florida State players who decide they're out, which is fine. We already talked about that. And then we'll peruse the landscape.
Yeah, the only question I have, and I've been meaning to find this out, is guys who graduate and become grad transfers, like the way it used to be before the transfer portal was open 24/7.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have to declare. Like if a player's going to graduate this summer, I don't know that he has to declare.
The principle would still be the same. They're trying to get these coaches to know who's going to be on their roster by May 1st. I feel like that would be the same for a grad transfer, but that's just complete speculation.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to find out. I think because there are some players that are in their fourth year of college who potentially could be graduating by this summer. The question is, I don't know for sure if those people have to declare, but yeah, the vast majority, for all intents and purposes, if a player wants to transfer or even have the option to transfer, you could still possibly have some guys put their name in the portal and then stay if they're desirable. If the coaching staff at Florida State or another school wants to keep them, they could go in the portal and then take some time to decide it. But if you want to play this fall, for all intents and purposes, you need to declare that by going in the portal by the Sunday.
I think the fan base gets concerned because they see names on Florida State's roster enter the portal, and they don't see a bunch of names coming back just yet. But again, the names that have entered the portal up to this point, not earth-shattering for Florida State to lose those players. And there's time. They got plenty of time to bring in these guys. Like, let's find out who's all out there. You're not in a rush to just supplant the name of the guy who announced 2 days ago because he left. Like Quayshawn Fuller leaves, and you go, okay, he leaves. You lose a depth piece, I guess.
He was
had a grand total of 11 tackles in his career at FSU, but I mean, okay.
He was probably one of the first ones that I think people were at least asking, well, wait a minute. I thought he might be in the 2 deep.
Might be able to play. Right.
Jadarius Green McKnight, to me, was kind of close to that as well. He had shown potential. It just was never clicking, and it didn't seem like he was moving up the depth chart. But they moved him to linebacker last year, and it certainly didn't look like he was going to be in the 2 deep this year.
No.
So nobody that you knew was going to be in the 2 deep this fall is transferred, and those are the guys you'd be concerned about.
And where are those guys going to end up? I mean, when you talk about, and no offense, well, it is offense. I'm not trying to be offensive, but the guys they're losing, where are they going to end up? Yeah. How many of those guys are going to be at Power 5
Well,
schools?
we know up to this point, anyhow, the vast
3
majority, 4 of total.
Hunter Washington just signed or committed to Mississippi State.
Okay.
Who went in recently, but he again was not going to be in the 2 deep.
He wasn't going to factor in this year.
He might have a better opportunity at Mississippi State. And I think Corey Wren is TCU, but that's kind of in that ballpark.
Right.
But I think from what it sounds like, Quayshawn Fuller, some of these other guys, Kobe Gross is going back to a junior college actually.
Correct, yeah.
And I think Quayshawn Fuller may end up going to. I think he'll go to an FBS school. I just don't think he's going to.
But you're not losing upward. They're not upwardly mobile.
Yeah,
any
you're
of
not
these
losing
players.
kids
You're
that
not
go
losing
on to-
Alabama,
yeah,
Ohio State.
Right. And
which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Well,
Yeah.
right, yeah,
yeah.
mostly good though.
Yeah, Georgia's like, oh, we're losing a kid, and he's going to go to Alabama or Clemson or Florida State, the way that Jermaine Johnson did. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's how good we are. Those kids can't make it here. It's time for them to take it
Yeah,
on down
and
the
he's
road.
going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, oh, well, we still had a pretty good defense even without you.
Yeah,
But how daunting is that though for the landscape of college football to
awful.
know? You look at Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech, who's a stud, one of the best backs in the country,
Yes.
and he's just like, I'm going to go over to Alabama.
Going to take it on down.
I mean,
the
which you can't really blame him if this is where it's set up, but it's a stark reality for schools like at that level, and Florida State's closer to that level than it is to Alabama. Man, you could be looking at a year from now, Kevin Noles or some of those guys, not to speak into existence, but if you've got a really promising player and an Alabama has a hole to fill.
Well, that's why you got to have a good year. You got those kids that are here now that have the potential athleticism to ever even consider going to an elite level school like a Georgia, like an Alabama or whatever. They got to know that they're in a place and they're building towards something. So if you go out and you have a 6-6 or 5-7 season, then they're apt to say, well, this ain't going to work. You go out and win 8 games and you feel like you're making progress. The losses are close losses to teams in which you were an underdog or something like that. You're like, okay, I want to build this thing up. Guys will buy into that, especially if they've already bought into the culture the first time around to say yes on the recruiting trail. Because remember, those are guys, Noles and guys like that. They're not transfer portal guys. Those are guys that have said yes out of high school. They knew what Florida State was. They knew how bad Florida State was. So they had to have believed in the pitch that Norvell gave them the first time around. I don't think they're so apt to give that up if they start showing progress.
I think so. Is there anybody that's even in the possibility of getting drafted in this class from Florida State?
Next year you're talking about?
No, this Thursday and Friday, whatever, that started their career at Florida State. Like all these guys are transfers. I mean, Jermaine, Keir Thomas, Jayshon Corbin. Is there anybody that's even draftable from Florida State this year that started their career at Florida State?
No, man.
And I don't know if I was trying to look back to remember if there has been. I don't know if there's been another Division I transfer from Florida State. Menelik Watson is the only one I could find in the last 20 years, and he started as a basketball player at Marist.
Right.
But like from a football school to
then
Florida
he would have
State,
dominated the post at Marist.
Could you imagine?
That's a tough to
defending
kind
him
of
in
get
the
set
post.
up on the block.
In the Patriot League or whatever that is. This guy, I got to deal with this guy.
You got to get your knee behind him there and really get that hand on the lower back and hope that you don't get
and just one little shoulder and you go flying into the wall.
Yeah, that'd be a toughie. Like he kind of just leans in, gets his hand up, wants the entry pass. That's a toughie.
Well, you foul him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe one a great free throw shooter
with a 2x4.
Yeah.
So that's just it's a unique year. The Florida State may have a top 5 pick or top 10 pick who's only here 1 year. We don't know if Corbin's going to get drafted. I would assume Corbin's going to get drafted. We don't know if Keir Thomas is going to get drafted, but they could all their draft picks could be guys that have only been here for a year or two. That again just speaks to how depleted the talent.
Well, and again,
is.
and the people that are leaving aren't going and bathing themselves in glory at other destination schools. So the point being, you have turned over the roster to a point where it's a solid roster now, as opposed to, and it really illuminates how bad it was 2 and 3 years ago.
And you see a lot of guys now when you go out there this spring, you saw a lot of guys who are potential NFL football players.
Yeah, I always say the phrase looks the part. We haven't had a lot of guys that look the part in a long time. It's why when Jermaine Johnson came over, we were all aghast at how different he looked compared to the rest of the players at Florida State. It's unsettling. Saturdays have been tough, not just because of the results. Saturdays have been really tough because on the hoof, when you look at the players we're playing, they are very different looking athletes. And even on teams that aren't elite teams, there have been times when I've watched a Florida State game and thought, their athletes look better than our athletes, and that team is going to go 7-5. The team we're playing that has the better athletes is going to go 7-5, and they look physically better than we do.
I feel like those days are over, though. Not where it's going to happen a few Saturdays, but you line up this defense and you go from all 11 starters. Most of them can play and look the part.
Yeah, that defensive
Jamie
line.
Robinson, the defensive line, Bethune,
looks like
Deloach getting a little bigger and getting better.
Yeah,
Cooper.
had a great year. Yeah.
Those are good players now. Those are potential NFL players. Some of them, they're potential NFL players. That was not the case 2 years ago, other than Asante.
And some of it, when it happens gradually, and it could kind of, as it happens gradually, certainly the way it did towards the end of Jimbo's tenure, particularly on the offensive line, and then the next tenure, Willie Taggart, and then Norvell, like when you see it happening over time, you kind of not become numb to it, but you just see it. But I remember, I think I mentioned it before, but when Brian McFadden came back to a practice in the spring, it was like it was either 17 or 8, somewhere in there. Might have been Jimbo's last year, and he looked at the offensive lineman. He's like, "Man, these guys,
what are we doing?
Their pads don't fit them. Like these guys don't. None of them look like Florida State offensive linemen." And it's like, yeah, this is where they're at. But that's again, that's where sometimes people question how much we're defending Mike Norvell, and I don't think any of us are defending him like, our lives are on it. But when you think about how long it had been degrading the roster, this didn't happen quickly, and hasn't been fixed quickly, but it does seem like they're getting closer.
Yeah, it takes a while to revamp a roster, also to revamp a psyche. I think he's succeeded on the collective psyche. I think the people that are on this roster now are bought in to what he's preached, taught, and been able to, I think, infuse a work ethic, a daily work ethic that it's much better than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now you just got to upgrade the level of people that are bought in and day to day, moving towards this, hence the climb and all that other cheesy stuff. But it matters. It takes time.
And then if you can back that up with wins, then it just
wouldn't
solidifies.
That be something? Well, wouldn't that be something?
That'll expedite the process.
Because
get some dubs up in here.
Because the reality is, and we have all talked about how if they don't have success this year, what it would do to recruiting, what it would do to media coverage. It would also be a problem inside that locker room, because when you ask people to work hard, when you demand a lot,
they want results.
Exactly. And if they don't have results, and it's affecting them and their potential draft or wherever else.
Well, you begin to second guess what you bought into as well. If you're
you
a
don't
guy,
want to feel like you bought a lemon.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I believed in this guy, and here we are 5-7, 4-8 again.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. And yeah, so it is a very, very big year. It's why it will probably be the central theme. It usually is anyhow for all of us, but it'll be the central theme all summer, even with not a lot to talk about in a specific week. You're still going to somehow introduce the idea of how important this is and the build up towards it, because it's just lurking there. How important it is. It got me thinking. I know we want to do something with the LSU folks this week if we can at Warchant, and we're working to that end, just to start previewing opponents over the summer, which is a good idea, I think. But when you start, I looked at the win bets. I do.
When do we get the Duquesne folks?
You want that one?
Yeah, I'll do the Duquesne.
Why don't you
guys.
lead?
Okay, I'll
lead by example.
I'll start with Duquesne.
The problem is they're in such demand,
right,
that it's hard to get
you
their
better
time.
Submit now.
So we're hoping to get some LSU people, because that Duquesne media, man, it's like they're constantly.
Well, it's were they Pittsburgh? Yeah, I mean they're all over the place there.
Drove right past Duquesne. Said a little prayer for him when I was in Pittsburgh last summer. I was like, man, you poor bastards.
You don't know what's coming. Have you seen Jordan Travis?
It wouldn't have even mattered if we were a 4-win team.
Do you know there's a bit of history between Duquesne and Florida State?
Is there really?
Do either one of y'all know?
A stout history.
Enlighten us.
In 1989, George McLeod's senior year, they were a 4 seed in the tournament.
The Dukes.
And Duquesne upset them in the first round. Pat Kennedy's maybe second NCAA tournament.
That's largely why anybody knows. Yeah.
Sorry. Let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Revenge shall be ours.
Yeah, that's right. Been waiting 33 years for it.
They should make George McLeod the honorary captain.
He comes out.
He can plant the spear.
Yeah. You guys are going to take an ass beating today.
Yeah, I remember.
I've been waiting on this one. The win bet odds for the SEC are out. I think they're about to drop the Big Ten.
What's LSU?
The LSU's at 6. I was just about to go there.
That's what I'm saying, man. This is not. This is a very,
very
winnable game.
Yeah. Had I told you that it was at 9.5, you'd have been like,
I would have been like, I'm betting the under. I really don't think they're that good this year.
But it is at 6,
man.
Well, let's play a little game. Let's have a long first set. It's been a while. We're all together.
Right. We're all together finally.
What do you think it is for Alabama? Because it's the same every year.
11. 11.5. Okay, sure.
How ridiculous is that?
Either they go undefeated,
you're going to go over
or
11.5.
Yeah. They go undefeated, or you lose the bet.
Yeah,
get the hell out of it. It's ridiculous. This sport is so dumb.
If you're going to take the over, you get plus 200. By the way,
remember, folks,
money to take the under.
But it's just the 12 games. We're not talking about the SEC championship, because clearly they'd go over 11.5 if you counted bowl games and championship. Just for the 12-game regular season, their win total is 11.5. That would be like the Warriors being 79.5 win total in the NBA every year. It's nuts.
It is crazy. So it's 11.5. By the way, your Georgia Bulldogs are 11.5 as well.
Well, they're the reigning national champs.
I'm just letting you know.
And they got
Stetson Bennett coming back. They got a Heisman contender.
Well, I'm not going to bring it up. Go ahead.
All right. What do you think Jimbo, the Fighting Jimbos are? This is a big year. Texas A&M.
Well, you told me.
So you can't guess. Were you in the room? I heard you. Oh, never mind. All right, the answer's 9.
This is tainted.
The answer's 9.
I would have put it at 8.5.
You know what I don't
8.5, I think they get hammered. I think
they would have hammered the over there.
And I think 9.5 they might get hammered on the under.
All right. So there's going to be a lot of pushes.
The over is minus 125. I took the over. I need Jimbo to not lose the random game they have no business losing based on the last 3 recruiting classes.
I can't wait to talk crap when they lose that. When you lose that bet,
well, they'll probably lose some rando out there. Because they'll
gotta lose 3 games.
They got Miami.
Well, you could push.
They got Miami.
Well, yeah. So
is a push? Do you get your money back?
I get my money back. I don't lose the bet.
You know how betting works.
I didn't know it totals. I didn't know it totals.
Hey, I'm hammering the under on Ole Miss. By the way, that number is 8.
Are they not going to be good this year?
Well, losing Matt Corral is a problem, I would think, and you lose your DC, you bring in a new DC.
What about the Gators? That's anybody. That's the only other team.
7.
All right, that seems about right. Look, so that's what you're playing 2 SEC schools, 2 national programs, but their win totals by Vegas are 7 and 6. You are not playing juggernauts.
You're not playing
Alabama
or
and
Georgia. Yeah. You got a shot there.
It's not an easy schedule by any stretch, but it's not impossible because nobody on this schedule is a juggernaut. Clemson is the best team on the schedule probably, but who's their quarterback? And are they going to be able to move the ball because they couldn't last year and they lost Brent Venables?
Look, and if Vegas has them winning 6 games and 7 games, Vegas may not have you as an underdog in those games. I mean, it's possible. You may not be
especially
an underdog.
Florida coming here. Games. I would think Florida coming here. I think you are an underdog probably to LSU, but only
I don't know, man.
Points.
How many games are they going to be? How many other games are they going to be underdogs in?
Yeah,
it's a fun exercise. I'm doing it right now. I'm going to promote here the college sportsbook. We did the SEC East yesterday. Today we'll do the SEC West. It'll post later on this evening. And I went through to try to find values. And, when you see these win totals, you're like, okay, all right. And then what that forces you to do is you go in and like, oh, well, who did they lose? Because now you start looking at LSU and Florida in particular.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, who did they? Oh, okay. Lost 3 linemen, lost 4 linemen here. You start looking at that kind of stuff.
Lost starting quarterback.
Yeah. So it's fascinating. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For better style, quality, and design, go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
This is an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee. A few months ago, I asked you to contact your legislators to help stop the skyrocketing property insurance rates in Florida. Other states average 2 lawsuits per day on property insurance claims. Florida has 384 per day. The property owners of Florida are being taken advantage of, but it is not by the insurance companies. The companies are paying out 10 times the cost of a claim or more that would have been paid anyway. People are canvassing neighborhoods, knocking on doors, suggesting that the property owner may have some damage. The property owner innocently signs something that turns all control of any claim settlement to an attorney that becomes the person designated to get the claim check and who controls the disbursement of the claim payment. If we want these rates to go down, we must reach out to our legislators and let them know how unaffordable home insurance has become and that we want them to support reform that will fix the issues. This has been an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
goodness.
Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here we go. Your next chance to grow your green this spring and win $1,000 is coming up at 2 p.m.
I just won $1,000.
Listen for the keyword at the top of the hour. Then enter that keyword online at realtalk93.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
What's a realistic late date that we would be bringing in, Florida State would be bringing in transfer portal guys? Because people on here get nervous.
October,
I brought this up earlier.
maybe October, middle October before the Miami game.
What would be realistic? If we're saying this Sunday, ideally, if you're going to play in the fall, you will need to have put your name in the transfer portal.
I mean,
probably middle of May, right?
Right.
I mean, I think that's what Dylan Gibbons was last time. It wouldn't make sense.
I thought Gibbons was later than that even.
I don't know. I think it was around May.
They start summer stuff in June, like the 1st of June.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would definitely want somebody here for the whole summer, ideally. But man, if there's a couple positions, I think defensive end for sure is one of them, where, I mean, if somebody came available in July, you would take them.
But they wouldn't.
No,
they can't become available.
I would say they can't. I mean, somebody that could have been in the portal.
Oh, that's still
but maybe had no interest in you.
Right.
And then all of a sudden something happened and you could make it happen. I mean, there's a couple positions. I don't know if with receivers, I don't know.
Offensive line's one.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of coordinating that happens there. They have to.
I got it.
So what are the numbers at, Ira? Where's Florida State scholarship-wise right now as we speak?
Yeah, so the breakdown I did that's on the website.
Warchant.com.
And these numbers, it's hard to say 100% exactly because sometimes.
Here he goes hedging again.
Well, everyone, sometimes the guy you may think is a walk-on actually got put on scholarship. Norvell's different. Like all these coaches that do the big presentations when kids go on scholarship. He doesn't do that.
Good PR, buddy.
Trayshawn Ward was on scholarship for months before they confirmed he was on scholarship. So there's some gray area. Another guy like Dante Anderson, when he signed, there was questions about whether he was a preferred walk-on or he's actually on scholarship. I think he'll be on scholarship in the fall either way. But anyway, so I've got him at 82 right now with two more that could come in. 82 right now, including the guys who signed but haven't enrolled
like
yet.
Armella and people like that.
Yes.
So they're at 82 right now. So they have at least 3 spots.
And then, and then possibly two more. Well, there's possibly two more. Antavius Woody, who didn't sign but committed, and the feeling is if he gets cleared academically, they will sign him, so he could come in. And then Destin Hill's still out there, buddy. There's still hope that
unicorn.
There is still hope that Destin Hill, who signed last year,
Kaiser Sose
could make it in. So, I mean, we'll see. And then, but anyway, if those two happen, you beat 84. So you probably need to lose a few more guys here in the next week to make that happen. My guess is, even if you think you're going to get Woody and Destin Hill, you're probably still trying to make sure you get a couple more spots. So I think those conversations are still going on.
The next 3 days or 5 days,
might see a couple,
probably going to be 2 or 3 more guys in the portal.
That would be my expectation.
Would you want to harbor a guess at who that's going to be? No, let's not play that game.
I'm looking at receivers. I'm kind of curious.
Well, I mean, to me, what I would tell people who are curious is the place I would look most often is guys who have been in a program for like 3.5, 4 years,
and they're not
who
making
can
any
graduate,
progress.
who are not going the right way in the depth chart, and who might still want to play somewhere else. Now, if a kid graduates, again, you could tell them, look, you're graduating this summer. You've been here. We're not obligated to keep you for another year. So I think there's kind of a, as you're having these conversations with players, I'm sure it would be great if they all were on the same page. But if you got to a point where nobody else was taking like when we worked in the Democrat and they would do buyouts every 6 months for people that wanted to retire early.
Nobody take the bait.
And they would say, look, if we don't get enough people to take the buyout,
we're going to
just going to fire people.
It's like the airline. If we don't get volunteers to step off this flight for
we're just
going to randomly
pick
rows.
So it's possible there, there might be like one or two guys out there that maybe could be graduating or have graduated that they'd like to keep, but if they can't get enough takers, then because I think the last thing you want to do is push kids out who haven't graduated and have been here for less than 3 years.
Jeff, how would you push someone out if you were a coach and a kid just hadn't? He's not going to play for you. He's a good kid, but he's not going to play for you.
If he's a good kid, I'm screwed.
But you really need that.
We should not have committed him. We should not have brought him in. Scholars. I mean,
sure, but you're trying to win football games and you need that spot. So how do you, Coach Jeff, go to a guy and say, how do you say it? How do you kind of nudge him out the door?
So my freshman year of college, I lived off campus because I did everything real late. I was just anyway. I didn't make it into a dorm, so I had to get an apartment. I moved into an apartment with 3 other guys. It was like one of these apartment complexes where they'll just put you with people that have space. So I moved in with these 3 guys.
That is not ideal.
No,
what are we
doing?
Everything 18-year-old college.
Everything about it was awful.
Yes.
Especially the fact that these 3 guys were running drugs out of the apartment.
That's not good.
Did not really want Ira in the apartment.
No, they got a thing going on.
So
you're not part of it.
So they had to talk with you?
Yes.
They had to sit down with you?
One of the guys pulls me aside and he's like, look, man,
I'm sure you're a
we
nice
like
guy.
you.
Yeah, we get along with you.
Yeah, don't get this twisted. You're a good dude.
Yeah.
We just don't want anybody in that poor spot.
We're doing our thing.
And so I had to go to the apartment complex and tell them that I'm not happy.
Oh,
but
so
what was
you
my
had to
option?
word it,
Was I going to say no? I want to stay. No, I demand to stay here.
Well, that's the tough
apartment
part when you're not.
K103.
Yeah, when you're not wanted.
You want to be the ringleader.
Well, you've got to, Corey, delicately let a young man understand that his presence isn't needed.
Right.
That he's not wanted per se.
I know. I literally don't know how these coaches do it.
So, you could say to Stephen Dix Jr., for example.
Come on, man.
We didn't say we're going to name names.
And I don't even like that.
We're not going to say names. We're not going to name names.
You asked me to
say Jerry.
Oh,
go
sorry.
with Jerry.
So, okay.
Jerry. Just say
Larry
Jerry.
Nix Jr.
There you go. Larry Nix Jr. That's
and
better.
He says, what do you think of my future? And I go, you're going to do well at Troy.
Well, see,
and
that's
not
delicate. That wasn't delicate
I get him
at all.
some food, and we have a big hugging out moment. And then I say,
you bake him a casserole.
Sometimes feeding people in these stressful moments is the way to go.
I don't know that you would say you're going to do well at Troy. That seems heartless.
I think
you're not a heartless coach.
I would have called Troy to ensure that he's welcomed with open arms. So I have a landing spot for him.
You know, they have the companies that like advertise on radio that like the guy will get you out of your timeshare or get you out of. Like Jeff can start consulting for. He'll come in and have the conversation for coaches.
Yes.
Like you don't want to have that conversation.
Well,
but
it's
up in the air.
Up in the air. George Clooney goes.
You fly me in. I sit down. I have the conversation for you. The very uncomfortable conversation.
So Larry, you're a good kid.
Larry, this guy loves you.
Yeah, he loves you.
We all do.
I mean, he's not here right now.
No, but he does.
He does love you.
He wanted me to let you know.
He's trying to go get a better player.
On certain terms.
He couldn't be here, but yeah,
he didn't recruit you.
Right, you're not his guy. You're not his guy.
That's the way
and
it works
you don't play that. You don't play that well.
It's good for you to learn this lesson early.
Yeah, Troy's pretty.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's us. It's them.
Right. It's us. It's us wanting a better football player so we can win more games.
Yeah. And that's not your fault. You were brought in for a group that didn't care about winning these games.
You can't. All right, so you can't give inducements to recruit players. Could you give inducements to get kids to leave?
Here's $100.
Here's a couple flat screens
and a casserole. Yeah. And a flat screen's not bad too. A flatbed truck.
Don't forget the casserole.
Yeah.
Throw in
an extra controller. Those aren't cheap. Those aren't cheap. I put 2 controllers in there. There's not one.
They come into Norvell's office. He opens the closet.
He's like, what do you think?
And there's just some game stations.
That's the new MLB The Show.
Yeah, that's for you. That's for you, my man. All you got to do is
this door is open.
All you got to do is not play football
and do play for
someone else.
Yeah,
Florida International,
Fresno State. I talked to them this morning. It's just so happens.
Yeah, they got a spot.
They got a spot. They need a guy
it's an
who looks
FSU
just like
too.
you.
You don't have to change your
How
gear.
about that? You can wear the same hat. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
News now.
The Tallahassee Police Department is reporting 3 different overnight shootings within a span of 2 hours. The first shooting happened yesterday morning between Brady Road and Steel Road around 2:03 a.m. No injuries were reported. The second shooting happened between West Gaines Street and Railroad Avenue around 2:46 a.m. Gunshots were heard in a parking lot, but upon their arrival, no one was on the scene. The third shooting happened on Dixie Drive around 3:36 a.m. One person was found shot in that area, and they suffered non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made in any of the incidents. A 50-year-old man man was killed in a single car crash Friday evening after his pickup truck flipped several times on National Forest 13. The man was driving east around 9:57 p.m. when, for an unknown reason, the man began to drift off the road after attempting to get back on the roadway. The driver lost control of his vehicle, causing it to overturn several times. The driver was ejected and was pronounced dead on the scene. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered rain showers. Highs level off around 86. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight. Lows dip down to about 60. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Highs level off around 84 tomorrow. Sunny skies and calm. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 83.
Are you hungry and looking for a new way to save some money? Ditch the expensive bites and eats for delivery options. Ordering food from your favorite local restaurant just got easier. Choose foodiestakeout.com to save 10% when you order from select local restaurants today. Text Foodies to 230-9456 and get 10% off your first order at foodiestakeout.com. Don't wait. Do it now and save. Text the word Foodies to 230-9456. Shop local and save at foodiestakeout.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Like a teenager doom scrolling on Twitter during the break.
What's so interesting on the Elon Musk machine over there?
Hey, man, I'm so excited about.
I'm looking at the portal. I'm on the Twitter looking at the portal, seeing who's out there. A Connecticut quarterback just hit the portal.
So when you look at these kids' names on the portal, you're like, oh, I like that kid. You don't know who the hell that kid is.
And the thing is, sometimes the transfer portal Twitter machine, whoever does it,
Twitter account,
they'll say like he's played 2 years and he's done nothing, and sometimes they don't say anything at all. So you're like, but the Connecticut quarterback last year threw for 1,300 yards and ran for 120.
Did you see my
just throwing that out there, guys?
Speaking of Twitter, did you see my brush with fame yesterday with Dan Levitard?
No.
Let me tell you all about it.
Please do.
So on Sunday, I tweeted something about this crazy situation in Miami with the booster Ruiz, who's announcing contracts and NIL deals. Like literally the moment kids are committing and they're acting like, and he's acting like there's nothing wrong with that. That's not pay for play. It's perfectly fine. This kid committed. Then I gave him an $800,000 contract.
Right.
So I tweeted about it, and Miami fans did not like the tweet at all.
Because basically you introduced the idea that it might not work.
And well, it may not work.
It may not work.
Then now he's going to think he's the GM because he's assembled this talent.
Hiring and firing people.
Right. So anyway, the Miami fans, man, it was a little bit of a lynch mob from the Miami fans on Twitter, which is fine.
You're used to that.
Which is what
and
I certainly expect it when you tweet about NCAA violations, anything like that. With Miami, you're going to get that blowback. Well, but some people started tweeting at Mike, the producer from Levitard Show.
Yeah.
And like kind of trying to sick him on me to like because if he retweets it, then now I might have a real problem.
You still have
a bigger problem.
It'd still be a social media problem,
right? But instead of
really not a problem.
No, but instead of 300 people coming at me, it might be 3,000 people, whatever. So anyway, but they actually talked about it on the show. They talked about the tweet and they talked about the topic, and actually Levitard, which you'd expect, Levitard and Mike, they were actually agreeing kind of with my take that this is it's concerning. It's crazy that we all know the NCAA doesn't have teeth anymore.
Right.
We get that, but you don't have to.
Flaunt
you
it?
don't have to flaunt it to the level Miami's flaunting it.
So,
crazy.
but that is very Miami, and so he's playing to a
right.
character.
But
can Nevin get back in the game?
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say,
Nevin get
he was
back in the
before
game?
his time.
Yeah, of course he was, man.
well
He's
before his time.
revolutionary.
Yeah.
But on Levitard's show, they were saying that, like, man, maybe just wait 24 hours or 48 hours before doing all that. Like, why do you just because they're not going after other schools doesn't mean they won't come after Miami. Anyway, and just a real quick point, but Levitard called me Ian Schofel. But he has since apologized twice to me. So that was nice. But yeah, so that was my
on the air, or did he text you?
Twitter and then DM.
You could be an Ian.
Yeah, sure. I would. Yeah,
Ian Schofel.
Yep.
Ian Schofel. That's the kind
Iris
of a ring
sounds
to it.
better.
Iris.
Like
Well, it's a less common name. It's a more.
No, but
last week I was thinking about changing it.
Right. Yeah.
Would people figured it out?
You just can't go to Ian Schofel. Yeah, they'd have been like, "Where'd Iris go?"
I don't know, but we hired this guy Ian.
Yeah, he looks a lot like him.
He's the Silver Fox as
Yeah,
well.
right.
It's crazy.
Last thing on that, real quick. Kim and I went to a thing Saturday, the Lemoyne Chain of Parks thing. This guy's jogging.
I was there.
What?
I was there both days, Saturday and
You
Sunday.
went back?
Oh, went
We had a
back. I
great
bought
time.
all kinds
We
of
did
art.
too.
Buddy.
We did too.
Man, come on.
It was
Y'all
awesome.
should have hooked up,
We
man.
could have been there hanging out.
But we're
By the way,
walking
the
back to
bands
the car.
sucked. Can I be in charge of the bands next year? What are we doing up there?
Yeah,
at the Chain of Parks?
Yeah, I'm not,
Slappies, all of them. Awful.
I only saw one or two.
Sorry,
but
I'm sure they're
anyway.
good people.
Anyway,
good parents.
when I was walking, Kim and I were walking back to the car. This guy's jogging past us, and he runs past us. He turns around and yells,
"Silver Fox!"
I'm listening to some headlines right now. He goes, "The Silver Fox!"
Then Kim had no idea.
No, but then he said, "I'm listening to some headlines right now."
Oh, okay.
So
All
she
right.
figured it out.
So-
and I've also told the family about the whole thing from last week.
You did.
Oh,
You
okay,
probably
so
broke it
they're
down.
informed now. They
Yeah.
know. So if you get any hatred,
Did they go
spewing
back
your
and
way,
look at your
they'll
Twitter
know
account?
and
Well, it
see.
turns out Molly, the oldest, may have actually already clued into it because she saw Warchant trending, and she's like, "What's that all about?"
Why is this
We're doing
happening?
good stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
What's going
Dad.
on? Oh, Dad.
Dad,
oh,
you did
no.
it.
Yeah. No, so by the way, what they're doing at Miami is kind of what I
Is what
like,
you want them to
is
do.
what I want them
But
to do here.
Why the?
But you don't have to
flaunting?
draw yes, don't. But Miami has to have the attention to go with the nefarious. So
We could wait 3 days.
I
That's
just,
all-
Kid
that's what-
commits,
that's what
and
they were
then you
saying on
announce it
Levitard
3
I
days
just
ago.
want to do the nefarious. Don't shine the spotlight. Just do the thing.
Well,
do
you-
the
but
thing.
you also
go
want-
get the kids.
You want
Let's
the kids
go.
to know what money you're paying
You
too,
can
baby.
easily do that without it being posted on social media.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
post it
The word would get
48
out.
hours
Yeah,
later.
48 hours later works just as well as you breaking the commitment.
Yeah, there's no reason. Well, anyhow, we shall see with all of this. And this is every time we talk about
We didn't even
anything
talk
to do-
about, people might not know that we're talking about a kid from Kansas State that's a basketball player that averaged 17.5 points per game that is getting an $800,000 deal at Miami through Ruiz's company, their benefactor now. 2 years, 800,000 and a car. And that was broadcast. They were celebrating it on Twitter. Ruiz
They
announced
literally announced it. A lot of people, including me and a lot of other people, saw that before we even heard that the kid had committed and signed.
Right.
Like that was the
that was the
it
announcement.
was the announcement that he was. Now he did commit and sign. He signed a great aid.
So it's on the
which
up
is
and up.
another thing
Yeah.
that last week a lot of people in the media were telling me like, yeah, you don't sign anything as a transfer. No, he signed. If you read all the Miami stories or their official website, the reason Larinaga could talk about him, you can sign kids to a grant and aid. He has signed. That's why Larinaga could talk about him. But anyway, the point is, yeah, why do you need to be that bodacious about it? Now, the one thing, the NCAA is afraid to death. They're not going to do anything. But I do wonder if conferences might try to do something at some point. Because it's just straight up pay for play. I mean, there's no pretense.
I have been screaming this. This is what I've been saying. What are we waiting on? And it took us a while, but Rising Spear is in play now, and we're doing that. But this is what's going to happen everywhere until the rules change.
Well, yeah, but when is that? If
Who knows
if
if
and when
it's
that
gonna
happens.
Well,
yeah.
this is why every time we bring it up, this is where I was going to go a moment ago. Every time we bring something like this up, whether it involves us and a player, whether it involves Miami and this guy, Ruiz, anybody, you can almost just sense, I can almost picture it in my head, the people who love college football wincing. They hate where this has gone.
That includes me.
Yes. Yeah. And the fact that there are no parameters, that there are no real rules, certainly none that anybody's following. And there's also no group coming in to save the day. Nobody, the NCAA is not going to come in here and go, okay, we got to get a handle on this, guys.
Right.
No, they have already thrown their hands to the sky and walked away very quietly. They're Homer in the meme going into the bush. That's all they are, man.
The problem, though, is it doesn't, the sustainability part of it becomes in the things like I was talking about.
Right.
Because you now have these de facto GMs. You know, this guy wrote, and one thing I didn't realize at the time talking to some people, he's not the only big money guy down there putting money into this. But if you only have a couple of big time people putting in the money,
get some return.
They become the GMs. And it's the difference between that and like a lot of people came at me and said, oh, this is new. College football players getting paid. No, the difference is at LSU, or the reason LSU couldn't hire Jimbo is because they couldn't get all of their big money boosters on the same page.
Right.
It's harder when you have a bunch of big money boosters, or if you have no big money boosters. But if you only have one or two, then they call all the shots.
They rule today.
Guy at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, T-Boone Pickett.
And then the dude at Auburn that was there forever, Lawler, I think was his last name, who was basically, he hired and fired people.
Bobby Louder.
Bobby
Louder.
Bobby
Louder.
I was thinking of Jerry Lawler.
Come on, we're just going to randomly
tap into he fired Terry Bowden.
Yeah, I mean, because he had the money, he had the power. But it's so brazen now, which is just, and again, I think the biggest problem that we all have with it is, you know, the kids can just leave one school for another. There's no contract binding. Like, again, in the NFL,
I brought this up forever. The NFL does this better than everybody. That's the problem.
But Jermaine Johnson is going to sign
he's going to be locked in there.
4-year deal.
And when you get a free agent from a team because you need to fulfill a problem at linebacker, you get him. You know where he's going to be each day of practice. And you don't have to worry about him next year. He signed a 3-year deal or a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal. He's going to be here.
And it's not that any of us or I don't know anybody that's, well, maybe a few people, Danny Cannell or whoever, who don't think players should get anything beyond their education. I mean, we all believe players should get paid.
He flipped on that, by the way. It took a while.
So that's not the point. It's not where we're saying that. It's just that it needs to make sense. And part of the problem with one of the big differences between the way it was and the way it is now is not every kid was taking handouts before. Not every kid was asking for money or demanding money up front or going in the portal every offseason and trying to renegotiate, which is what is literally happening on every college campus right now. There are players on everybody's roster. They're non-FSU fans who listen to this. There's a player on your roster or more who are going to the coaching staff right now and the NIL people saying,
I want money.
I want more if I'm going to stay here.
Yeah. Georgia has a backup guard that made a lot of extra money in the last 2 weeks. And that's our backup tackle.
And he can do it again next year if he wants.
Sure he can.
I mean, anybody, that is going to be a problem.
Unsustainable is what that is.
It's unsustainable, and that does erode whether or not it was a false pretense in general what college sports is. In a lot of ways,
well, just because one thing was broken doesn't mean this isn't also broken.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, and that's kind of where we're stuck at. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks, we fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC1331204.
Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
So wrapping up the hour in a moment, we'll get to headliner questions. Plenty of Twitter questions. Plenty. I didn't check the Facebook realm. Are we all right on Facebook, everybody?
I assume. I asked. They carried the show last week. I know that.
They did.
I know that.
They did.
We didn't delve into those Twitter waters.
I dipped back into the waters, felt confident about it. I think you're rewarded for the most part. It doesn't look like it's the cesspool that it typically is.
We're all moving on.
Well, good. All right. We'll get to those questions next hour. And a lot of people have a lot of questions. I mean, it's funny. I knew it last week when we were talking about how well the baseball team played. I was thinking, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. They'll just turn around and lose this series to Clemson. Now, what would you do? By the way, would you move Carson to a closer? Yeah, I would too. Absolutely.
Yeah. I wrote that in my column that
Yeah.
Jeff didn't read. It's fine.
No, I
didn't
read
I didn't
it.
listen to your show yesterday.
I figured as much. Yeah.
But I was on.
But he was on.
I listened to about 5 minutes of that, and I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
And then I went on to something else, went on to case file or something.
I had a suspicion that you were going to write about the baseball team in the exact same way that I thought about the baseball team.
I mean,
yeah, we get that, but
I don't need confirmation bias. I don't need that.
Yeah,
Sunday needs to be the Kevin Cash 9 pitchers thing. I mean, right? I mean, like at this point, like you're not.
It was this past Sunday because the starter went an inning.
Well, but I mean, why even try? I just don't get the idea of they don't have anybody. There's nobody. They don't have anybody that's going to give them 6 or 7 strong innings
They
on
thought
Sunday.
they did.
Yeah, I'd make Montgomery the closer.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd put him in the back end. You can't. Scolaro has done a lot of nice things for this program over the years. They have been. Did you know this stat? You don't because you didn't read the story.
No, it's been out there.
Is it?
Yeah,
it was on.
I probably already knew it.
The eighth inning stat.
Yeah, did you steal it from me?
No, it was
because
on
I've said it
ESPN.
before on the air.
But 36-3.
Yeah,
they've been outscored in the 8th inning.
That's
36
tough to win games when you're being outscored 36-3 in the 8th.
It's crazy to give up 36 runs in one inning over the course of a season, but to only score 3 in an inning.
Yeah.
In 38 games.
And in some games, that's a vital part of the game.
Yeah, usually the 8th inning's
Game's
pretty
kind of
important.
on the line.
Kind
in
of
that
hanging
moment. That's
in the
also
mound.
an inning that I would advise typically. Now, there's never ideal, but especially the 8th or the 9th, let's not commit 4 errors in an inning.
That's big.
That's
big.
I mean,
Smart.
if you're going to commit them, like maybe 1 in the 1st,
Yeah.
1 in the 3rd,
Spread them out.
1 in the 5th,
Spread them out.
4 in the 8th.
You don't want to concentrate them all at once.
It seems like at that point you're going to give up some runs.
Right.
It
feel like it'd
feels
be
like
tough.
you're probably going to give up some
Have you
runs.
thought
at that
about
point.
coaching, man?
Let's spread them out, guys.
Yeah.
If we're going to commit 5 errors today, maybe 2 in the 1st, we'll work around it.
Yeah.
1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Now we're up to 4. We only need 1 more.
Colton, we don't want 2 in 1 inning. We don't want 2 in 1. We don't want you throwing everywhere.
Ideally, we'd have 0 for the
but
game.
if you're going to
Pick
commit
up
1,
the baseball.
do not
their
commit 2.
fielding percentage is worse than it was last year? That I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
Now they are a better hitting team than they were a year ago. I know you don't know that, but they are.
Barely.
But they are. And they do some other things better, but the picking up of the baseball ain't one of them.
They're 13th in the league in runs scored. They might be 14th. They might be dead last now because Duke put it on Georgia Tech this weekend. So Florida State might be dead last in the ACC in runs scored. It's nuts. But yes,
And yet we would point out, as we did a week ago, they went on a run in which they beat ranked teams, well thought of, excellent baseball teams that have had successful top 20 RPI seasons. They whooped their ass in succession, won huge series, swept Louisville. So they're capable of that.
And they won. Well, look, they're 6-2 in their last 8. In both games they lost. They had a lead in the 8th inning.
Right.
But it's the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And every time you lose a lead in the 8th inning, it seems Jonas Scalaro factors in. So I get it. He's been really good for you over the years. This year in high leverage situations, he has not been good for you. Why Davis Hare, I guess, gave up the grand slam on Friday night. So that wasn't Scalaro. And Scalaro's had some nice moments, but make Montgomery, put somebody else back there that you can count on. Montgomery looked electric in the 2 times he came into close.
Yeah,
Because he throws 96.
Yeah,
He
man,
misses
and he's
bats.
adrenalized.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
If you got to the 7th inning with the lead and you've got Hare and Montgomery,
I feel pretty good.
I mean, that's
As
now
a,
you
yeah,
got
he,
what's
so,
going
and they
on.
may
so he
very
can
well-
affect 2 games in a series or 2 games in a regional, as opposed to the one where he might give you 2 innings, then you've shot one of your best arms for a whole regional.
They may very well do that, and there is still time. Would be the point
Yeah.
that I'm going to
Well,
make.
that's the beauty, yeah.
it's
But
the
what's
adjustment you
their
make in
ceiling,
season.
man? That's the problem. And I was saying this last week. What's their ceiling?
Well, okay.
I don't know, man. If you got those
They
2
can't
starters,
hit.
if you
They
got
can't
if you
hit.
got your Friday and Saturday starters, and you got those 2 guys in the back end, you can win a lot of series.
No, you can even get to Omaha. You
Yes,
cannot
because
win.
we have gone to Omaha with teams that were brutally flawed.
You can't win Omaha with this.
No,
Well,
you can't win.
no.
No, you're not.
But you, I mean, and you don't want to just. I mean, getting out there is fun and it's awesome.
listen,
but
by
you
the
can't
way,
win a
if-
national championship with this team.
if you're a new head coach and you're trying to make inroads towards proving that down the line you're going to put together a team that can win a national championship, yeah, getting to Omaha is a good step forward.
Sure.
I mean, no matter the ups and downs of a regular season, if you get out to Omaha, you are one of 8 teams standing. It's an amazing
You
accomplishment.
will have to start scoring in the 8th inning.
The
I mean,
worst,
if you want to get to Omaha, you will have to score a run at some point in the 8th inning. The rest
the
of the year.
worst part about all this is Florida stinks, and you can't even really make fun of them because
Well,
your season's not going great either.
Right. And Miami's really good, apparently. But you got a big series
Miami's
with them
good.
coming up.
I was going to say that's
And TCU is good, too. Like,
well, and that's what we play this weekend.
So,
and it's a good
the
RPI.
thing that college baseball is so dumb, man. Like TCU is like 7th in one poll and 21st in another poll. I mean, it's just nuts.
Oh, I never look at those polls. I do look at the RPIs,
Right.
just to see, and they're a top 30 team RPI wise, just as Louisville was. But it's also weird college baseball in general because you'll look up and you'll be like, well, the College of Swanee is number 7 in the RPI here. How's that happen?
Dallas Baptist is the toughest
they're
schedule in the
fourth
country.
team in the country. Yeah, so it is very strange the teams that are good in college baseball, but you do see this. But Florida State's a top 25 RPI team. The problem is losing that win streak as they had it against a team like Clemson.
And Clemson's not very good, and,
No,
and you
had a
gave them the
chan-
game.
Well, you gave it twice, but you had a chance to move into the top 12 RPI. If they had kept on chugging along there, they'd probably be sitting around 12th, 11th in the RPI right
now.
now.
Look,
We're not too far away from being in the top 8 at that point.
Yeah.
You still sweep Miami, everything's good.
Which
Just
they might.
Sweep TCU, sweep Miami.
The
That's
oddity,
all.
the
You gotta do that.
oddity is you would not be shocked if they swept either one.
No.
You wouldn't. That's the weirdest thing. Like our fan base does this, and people do it in general, is they react when they're on a losing streak like they were on prior to the long winning streak and say, oh, they're never going to win again. This is an awful coach. It's an awful team. And then they turn around and win 6 straight.
Yeah.
And they're beating really good teams. Now, those same people will go, oh, I had it wrong. They never come back and do that. But just let's wait it out. They are, as you say, though, a team to assess in a lot of negative ways. Not picking up the baseball, not running the bases real well, and not having 3 starters is problematic.
And not having any slugging. Reese Albert still doesn't have a home run. Their starting catcher is slugging under 300. He's hitting under
Well,
200,
you
and he's
already know
slugging
what I
under
think about that.
300, and he's not a brick wall behind the plate.
So why is he starting?
Hey, exactly. But either way,
Because they do have a kid who hits for a ton of power
Yeah, yeah.
that they could start, who also isn't a great catcher.
Right. Yeah.
That's an understatement.
But I mean, he can hit. I mean, if you're going to suck behind there like the other kid, you might as well hit it out the park.
We get once a
Every
weekend.
once in and out.
Give me
every now and
once a
again,
weekend, a home
especially
run once
since
a
we
weekend.
have a power dearth. I would make it.
Yeah.
run
So
at
the
that.
one thing last year they had was power. Cabell, Robbie Barton, obviously Matt Nelson, who led the country in home runs.
Mhm.
So they might have a higher batting average this year, but they have no power. They have no slugging. They've also struck out. I imagine it has to be the most in the country, like 440 times in 30.
I think we're going to double check it during the break.
I will.
I don't want you
can
willy
look that
nilly
up?
throwing around.
I bet you could look that up.
dispersing these strikeout numbers.
Corey Clark?
Yeah,
No
just-
way.
We just throw it out there.
Never happened.
I would imagine it's the worst in the country. I don't know.
He doesn't.
Hey,
you know,
look,
He doesn't throw numbers around. Man, he doesn't throw hyperbole.
prove
This is
me
Corey
wrong,
Clark.
kids. Prove me wrong. It's the most strikeouts the team's ever had
Yeah,
through the first
in the
37
history of
games.
baseball,
Yeah,
it's never been done before. Yeah, well,
that's how I do.
so anyhow, we'll get to all that. Your questions forthcoming. Stay with Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Here we go. It's time for a chance to grow your green and win $1,000 cash plus a shot at a $10,000 grand prize. Here's your new keyword.
Travel, T-R-A-V-E-L. Travel, T-R-A-V-E-L. Travel.
Enter that word now at realtalk93.com, and you might be the next winner.
Holy cow, thank you. Oh my God.
I just won $1,000.
Hey, this is Monica. Hey, this is Elizabeth, and I just won $1,000. All right.
More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next after this town hall news break on WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Vice President Harris testing positive for COVID-19.
The White House said Harris tested positive on both rapid and PCR tests. It adds she has exhibited no symptoms. Harris will isolate at her residence but continue to work remotely and will only return to the White House once she tests negative for the virus.
That is correspondent Jeremy House. Also at townhall.com, as Russia rains artillery on the Donbas region, the U.S. and other nations are promising Ukraine the weapons it needs to repel that new offensive.
Ukrainian officials say they need more weapons and fast. Germany announced it had cleared the way for the delivery of self-propelled anti-aircraft guns. Meanwhile, 2 months into the conflict, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said more help is on the way.
We're here to help Ukraine win the fight against Russia's unjust invasion.
As he convened a meeting with defense officials from dozens of countries at Ramstein Air Base in Germany, Austin sought to reassure Kyiv.
You should know that all of us have your back, and that's why we're here today, to strengthen the arsenal of Ukrainian democracy.
I'm Jennifer King.
In other news, President Biden grants the first pardons of his term to 3 people.
Biden is pardoning Abraham Bolden, the first Black Secret Service agent to serve on a presidential detail. He worked with Kennedy and was convicted of bribery, but always maintained his innocence. The other pardons go to Betty Jo Bogans and Dexter Jackson. Both had served prison time for drug charges. The White House says they went on to become pillars in their communities. The 3 pardons and 75 clemencies come as the White House introduces a series of job training and reentry programs for those in prison or recently released. I'm Julie Walker.
And on Wall Street, all 3 major indexes down more than 1% now. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/LBox and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/LBox for 60% off. legacybox.com/LBox.
Being a mom is tough, so let's make those weeknight dinners a little bit easier. This Mother's Day, Real Talk 93 and Basic Brooks Law Offices want to give one tough mother a grand prize of 22 gift cards from local restaurants for Mother's Day 2022. All you have to do is visit realtalk93.com and send us a message telling us why your nominee is one tough mother. Brought to you by Dana Brooks and the Basic Brooks Law Offices. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks. Online at basicbrooks.com.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Great to be with you. And headliner questions forthcoming. First, our love to Birch Orthodontics. Dr. Birch did a great job with my oldest son, Bryce, who is now no longer wearing braces, is wearing the retainer on the regular. Complains about it a lot. I tell him, shut up. That's how it works.
Shut your mouth.
That's it.
Shut your non-braced mouth.
That's what it is. You think Dr. Birch and you think your father for stepping up to the plate and paying for these braces. Anyhow, he's wearing his retainer. He's doing well. And now Clark will be on the path towards straight teeth as well.
Just think if he wasn't
Birch Orthodontics.
If he wasn't wearing that retainer, those teeth would already shot way back out into the side of his
We'd have
mouth.
to do it all over again.
That's crazy. Those things retain them in there.
It's amazing.
It's a gift. You're giving him a gift, is what you're doing. You've given him the gift.
Long
of
after
good
I've left
teeth.
this earth, his teeth
Every
every time
time-
he's out there talking to people confidently.
Right. Every time he looks in the mirror or
Thanks,
sees
Dad.
himself on the TV
Thanks,
news.
Dr. Birch.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
When he
Pops.
sees himself on the news,
You never
what
know.
doing what?
Yeah.
Bryce is a personable guy.
Yeah,
he's
good-looking young kid.
Well spoken.
Yeah.
Local kid arrested for that one of those things? Or
No.
They'll say at least his teeth are straight.
look at that kid.
No, I'm saying like he could be a broadcaster.
Oh, I
His
thought you were
dad's
saying he
a
was going to be
broadcaster.
he was going to be
never
the
know.
lead story of the news.
His dad's a broadcaster. He's
true.
got better hair,
Yeah, well,
Well, I had
better-
good hair at his age.
better
as well.
teeth,
Oh, he doesn't have better teeth.
and he's probably going to be, maybe a more charming guy.
Well,
So
yeah,
Bryce has a
could-
lot of
it's
things
hard to
going
do.
for him.
Could be.
I can see him anchoring the news, but it's because of the braces he got from Birch Orthodontics. You too could get them for you or your
Yeah.
family. BirchOrthodontics.com is the website, and tell Dr. Birch that we sent you, and that we believe in Jordan Travis in this offense, and she should too. Try to boost her up.
I
when
don't
you
know
go
that I
into the
believe in
offense.
this offense. I believe in Birch more than I believe in this offense.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think we're just trying to
just
to
saying.
give her some confidence.
I know, but
We're
I don't want to equate her
Yeah.
practice
offense.
with the Florida State football offense.
Right,
She's
that's fine.
a fixture of consistency of greatness.
Great consistency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't really get that
Hopefully she
with this offense.
hopefully she writes monthly check before she hears that.
Yeah, there we go. By the way, I've been like a teetotaler lately. I've been really good. We need to head over to Horizons, get
Yes.
some drinks here soon, guys.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
I feel
let's
like
do
it's
it this
been
week.
too long.
Let's do it this
I'm
week.
in. I'm
Thursday.
in.
I'm
I'm
here
in.
for the duration. Let's do it.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, I know.
All
I'm
right.
actually in town.
I'm in. Let's go. Thursday. Oh, Thursday's the draft.
Well, we get there
Wednesday?
early. The
Wednesday?
draft starts at 8, right?
Yeah, but we got an event. We're gonna all head
Oh,
over to
okay.
Bumpus, and you guys can join us
Of
for the
course,
draft, and we'll have
of
a good
course.
time. But
Okay.
yes, but I'm with Horizons as well. So
Okay, good.
all the love
We'll
for
sing
our
the song as we
presenting
roll in
station.
there.
No, you will.
Okay, that's
You
fine.
will.
I'll do it. I'll
What
do
if-
it on demand. If you see me there, come ask me, and I'll sing the song on demand.
Do
for
people
you.
get a free app or free booze or what
Free
if
drinks.
if they sing it?
Oh, if they sing it to probably Mike. If you sing it to Mike, the bill's
He
on
loves
him.
it when people come up to him
The
randomly and
bill's on
start
him.
singing
The
that.
bill-
If you
He does.
sing the
Yeah.
Ho Ho Horizons theme song, what's not a theme song? Jingle.
Jingle.
Then yeah, meals on him. It's paid for.
'Cause
That's
Corey said
that's
so.
the Seminole Headlines promise.
I love it. It's Marlon writes, hello, boys. Quick question. Will we ever return that Boise State game? Oh, buddy. I was really excited to see that blue turf, as was Jeff. Can Ira confirm for us that this is going to happen? He does a smiley face. He's being nice. Yes. Anyhow, love the show. Yay, sausages. That's
Okay.
a
twist
little
on it.
plural. Yeah, a little plural.
All the sausages.
No, I don't think we're ever going back over there to Boise. I got screwed on this deal forevermore. I will be frustrated because I couldn't believe we made it all the way up until the time that it was going to happen. And then
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Because I thought they were going to cancel it long before that, as they rightfully should have, but they never did. And I was going to get my dream to go out there and see the game.
Well,
in
you got New
Boise.
Orleans. You got New Orleans. That's better than Boise.
Gonna
Who
be a
wants
good
to be in
time.
Idaho?
I did.
Unless you're running a militia.
No, I wanted to go to Idaho, to Boise in particular, because it's like the one place people love in Idaho.
Yeah,
And
I've been there. It's a cool little town.
Yeah.
Yeah, people say it's like if it,
Yeah.
if
It's
it
like a
wasn't
cool
for
town.
the if it wasn't for the flying part, you would have been cool with it too.
No, yeah, it actually was. It was a much cooler town than I
Why
thought.
the hell were
It's
you there?
the NCAA
Basketball.
tournament. Tony's
Oh,
last.
that's
Tony
right.
Douglas's last. I flew with the
Yeah,
team,
that's
and
right.
it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround. It's the one game.
Butch writes, hello, boys. Any guess as to what the breaking point will be with NIL? Wealthy donors are providing 6- and 7-figure inducements throughout college athletics. I genuinely wonder how long before donors realize that their investment in these athletes versus the returns of their investments are not worth it, effectively destroying the donor system within college athletics. Also, have we gone down a dark path with these power-crazy donors taking control over entire athletic programs, to Ira's point earlier this week?
That is
sure seems to appear the business is headed in that direction. Thanks for all you guys do. That's from Butch. Good
So
question.
a lot there, Butch.
Yeah.
A lot there. There's a lot
Butch,
there.
I think your fears resonate with the vast majority of college football fans currently.
Let's take a couple of those things because he brought up something that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but the donor
Destroying
structure
the donor system
is something of concern because you have, for years, the way athletic departments were funded largely was by going to donors and asking for money to help with buildings, facilities, operating expenses, all different things. Well, now you have a lot of donors who are going to think, you know what? I'd rather be the guy that takes the claim for bringing this player from Kansas State.
I'm going to interject here because you're right. They should think that.
But
they should
the
think that.
athletic department still needs.
Of course, but gone are the
funding.
days where we build these massive buildings so that we don't show a profit, and we have chocolate fountains and people riding around on whatever kind of scooter.
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 That's one
riding
where you're
around
going.
on scooters for no reason.
But the problem is
for no reason.
But the problem is at Texas A&M, they're
They
doing
have
both.
Right. Well, we
And
can't.
there are
We
schools-
can't. So put
Alabama-
your money to the
You gotta
players.
pick one.
Alabama's going to have both.
Yeah.
And there
so
are.
what?
I'm just saying.
So what?
In the ACC, as long as this conference and this ridiculous contract and the
Sorry-ass
revenue gap
conference. Yeah.
exists,
Then you better give to the
then
players.
you got to figure out a way. No,
At the end of the day,
They're
if I
ge-
give that kid $100,000 and he's also being $100,000 over there, I mean, like, look, if he's already interested in me and I win him over, I win him over. I mean,
you got to be able to do both. Is what I'm saying.
But the point is, you've
they're
got
going to build
sure,
this football-only facility. They're going to build it.
We know some big
And
money
that'll be the
donors.
last damn thing they build.
I've
Yes.
gotten to meet some
I
now
have
because
too.
through the live show and everything, and they are you can get concerned about, like, okay, there's only a finite amount of money.
Yeah.
Am I giving to the boosters? Am I giving to Rising Spear? Am I giving to both? How much
Right.
of both? Is this taken away from that? Should all my money go here? Should all my money go here? What should I funnel it? Those are real questions. It used to be you just gave to the boosters and they did what they wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah, but
now
those
you
days
got
are over.
now you got another way to impact
Now-
the program, and you probably impact it quicker this way.
Yeah, and
But
I
long
hope
term, it's probably not better. But short term, you make more of an impact with your money right now with these
The players,
theoretically, though, man,
Sure.
if throwing money at it was the answer, like Texas would be great, and they're
Yeah,
not.
but
They
we'll
haven't been
see.
great forever.
Now,
so
let's see.
my point is you, and what's going to happen? The other thing he touched on in that question was what's going to happen when these teams are not as successful as people hope just because they threw money at a player
Mhm.
or players.
Then we're going to laugh at them.
Well, but
Especially
it
Miami.
might happen to Florida.
It's going to
State.
be awesome.
Yeah. But it's the
So
same.
it's so, and then now you go back to that donor and say, hey, because here's a question. All right. So the Miami scenario, John Ruiz with his company, say that kid, he paid $400,000 a year, or is it 400? Yes, 400 a year,
Oh.
800 for 2 years
Right.
to come here and play. What if the kid's kind of a discipline problem? And I'm not saying he may be a great kid. What if he is? And what if the coach decides, you know what, I don't want to play him?
Yeah.
Well, now your company that you've pledged $400,000 to, the kid who's promoting it may not be playing because of a coach's decision, because he's got a problem with him on the field. But you've got this commitment financially. Now, is that donor going to say, screw you, I'm never buying a kid for you again?
Yeah, no, I think it's problematic.
There's a lot.
Also, there is no real return on unless that kid is a freak.
There's no return.
There's no return on it.
You're
You're just paying
doing
a
it-
kid because you want him to come to
You
your
want him
school.
to play for your
It has
team.
nothing
But
to
if-
do with
but-
representing your company.
But if he doesn't play as much as you think and you're not as successful as
Right,
you think,
right.
it's going to be easier to walk away from that than the annual relationship with your donor rep who you every year you give $25,000 to or $50,000 to or whatever it is. Those relationships, the relationship part of that is a big piece of that.
Yeah.
Which keeps those even when you're losing. Well, that part's going to be gone if people are just only giving towards NIL. That part is going to be gone.
In the interim, just give to NIL because we got to get some players in here.
Just for what, a two-year
Just
run
until
of
they
just
fix this
funneling
problem.
it.
Ira, let's get some players in here and win some games because you're not building the damn thing if you suck every year. I know that. If you're 5-7, you're not building anything because nobody comes to the games because you
will
suck.
you please acknowledge it's a little more nuanced than you're saying?
I'm just saying for
Please,
now,
just
and you
a
agree
little
with
bit,
me. Yeah.
It's a little more
It's a little
nuanced.
bit more nuanced. But for now, kids, give your money to these kids so that we can get some players in
I'm going
here.
to call that a win.
I'm tired of watching this nonsense.
But it is funny to think about, like, but Ruiz is a billionaire. So if he
Allegedly, man, there's some stuff
but
going on
if
with
you,
his-
800,000 to him is like $100 to us, maybe
Right.
$200, whatever it is. But he just wants to see his team win.
Right.
You know what I mean? The return, the kid selling car, whatever this company
Yeah, he
is,
doesn't care about that.
he knows he's not
Yeah,
getting
he's
it.
not selling any cars
None
to
of
that
these
kid.
people will get a return on their investment,
None.
except for like a Baker Mayfield type in Norman, where he signs with a company. He is a huge deal. The Armando Bacot kid in North Carolina.
But that's,
you know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
a
there are
household
few and
name.
far between examples.
but that's
Most of them
also
aren't.
the exact opposite of what this was supposed to be.
Exactly. That's why I have the. Yeah, exactly. I know.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
Yeah.
But you would have conceded equally that as of right now,
So I think
the way that you're getting kids,
the Bacot kid, the Caleb Love kid in basketball, the kid from Kentucky,
Those
who's
are
a national
pretty
player,
legit.
those are great
Yeah.
because those guys don't have a role in the NBA right now.
and
But
they've established
they've
something for that
established their
school.
brand and their
Agreed,
name. That's
agreed,
awesome. But yeah, it's.
I mean,
it's tough.
think of how much Trent Forrest could have made if he had an extra year by the end of his career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those
Tony
that
Douglas,
kind of
the
thing,
aforementioned Tony
yeah,
Douglas.
that,
He was
that,
beloved.
that is what it should be, and that's what it could be. Unfortunately,
Terrence Mann.
it's all been
But
perverted.
those guys they're making money. Like somebody like MJ Walker, or Raekwon Gray.
Right.
Like Raekwon Gray might have come back.
Oh yeah.
If the NIL was a thing, you know what I mean? Because he's not making much money at all right now.
Two baseball related questions next. One from Miles, one from Gator Kirk. Terrell was 0 for 9 against Clemson with 5 strikeouts. 2 questions. How did he not strike out 9 times?
I thought you were going to read these first, man.
This is Facebook.
Oh.
Secondly, has Clemson kicked the pitcher off the team that walked him? Well played.
Come on. Hey,
Gator
Alex
Kirk
has had
writes-
some big hits.
He
He's had some
has.
big hits for him.
Gator Kirk writes, will the baseball team win a regional this year? Thank you for the great coverage.
Don't know.
No, I don't know. Baseball's weird.
They have a couple
They
good
nearly did
frontline
last
pitchers.
year as a 3 seed on the road. Right?
Yeah, well, they would have gotten in the winners bracket.
Yeah.
And if you don't sail that throw.
As long as they're first 2 pitchers are healthy, there's no regional where I would be like, man, they can't win that regional.
Of course, yeah. Then nobody's going to want to see them as a 3 seed on the road.
Florida
like,
State's a
good.
nightmare.
We got to face Hubbard, then Messick.
I keep
Great.
thinking about this
And
because
Montgomery's in their pen.
we've seen teams like Florida State come in here, and I thought, oh, that's the problem.
Couldn't you
They've
sent
got
them
2
to-
frontline
You couldn't have
guys.
sent them to Baton Rouge,
Right. And we've all watched that happen before where you're like, you know, this team barely finished over 500. That's why they're a 3 seed. However, that guy's going in the first round, their Friday starter, and that guy's going in round
Second
2.
2 or 3
and they're
rounds.
going to throw the second guy
Yeah.
against Southern Miss or whoever, and then we're going to get that guy.
You're going to get Messick on a Saturday night with a spot in the winners bracket. Yeah, I mean they're tooled for that. It's just
Getting there is going to be a little gross.
and it's just and also you
could also lose any of these games because
yes,
of the way
their
you
margin
field
of
and your
error,
score. Yeah.
emphasis on error is tough to overcome sometimes.
Man, I just tried to look up some of the mocks out there for the NFL because we have a question about where Jermaine Johnson's going to go. I've been looking at these for days. I love this stuff. I can't help myself. I get mired down in here on these lists. I've seen him as high as
4, right?
Well, I've seen him as high as 4, but it looks more and more like there's a very good chance, not just an outside shot, but a very good chance he goes top 10.
Maybe the Falcons at 8.
No, I
the
think
Giants
he's almost,
at 9.
Yeah, everything seems to be 10. I've seen as high as 4. I think it also speaks to this draft.
Well, it's a weird draft.
This draft is not. I mean, it's just
there's no quarterbacks.
Yeah, there's not
No
the
quarterbacks, no
skill guys.
sexy. Yeah, that's the problem. But again, good for Jermaine, and it's good for Florida State that a guy left Georgia, came here, became defensive player of the year in the ACC, and is going to go top 15.
Yeah,
that's
and
huge.
He's likable,
Oh,
good on TV.
eminently likable.
So in all these interviews, he talks about why he came to Florida State, why he believed it. That's man, you couldn't ask for anything better.
All right, let's get back to the question, gentlemen. If you could pick any all-time sporting event to have witnessed live, what would you have picked?
All time.
Lake Placid.
That's a good one.
The Olympics hockey team winning in '80.
Jesse Owens at the Olympics.
That's a good one too. That's a good one too. To have gone over there,
Yeah.
and to witness it.
Well, yes, I would like to see because Adolf would watch from the the box, right?
As he was twitching all the time hopped up on meth.
Yeah, but I'd like to see his reaction when that happened.
What if you could have?
You can. I think the reaction is filmed.
But I'd like to see it up close.
You wanted to be there
and throw something at him.
Hey, what do you think of that?
Yeah,
suck it.
Yeah, USA baby,
Yeah.
USA.
Get you some of that.
If I could go back and tackle Jeffrey Mayer,
Oh, you should do it.
I
and
would
then
do
punch
it.
his throat.
Now, I'd probably get arrested
Yeah,
for
but it's
attacking
all right,
a
yeah.
child.
So you tackle him before he goes
Yes.
into the stage?
No, before the play.
Hey,
you
was
could
it-
just block him.
Was it Tarasco about to
Yes.
catch that?
Yeah.
I still remember. Oh, it's so
If you
frustrating.
did you see the I think it was the Timberwolves game where the fan ran onto the court and the security guard tackled her immediately.
He was
and then
eyeing her the whole time.
And then it seemed
They
like they dragged her by
out-
the hair.
That looked like some KGB stuff.
Yeah,
like
but-
they're making you disappear.
So that's how you would have had to been with Jeffrey Mayer. You sit two
Oh, yeah,
seats
yeah.
over, and as soon as you're
As soon as
watching
that
him,
ball's in
as
the
soon
air.
as you see him start, you shoulder block him out of the way. Yeah.
Now, and that's a misdemeanor, right? Like, I wouldn't do time for that.
You
Like,
just say you're going for the ball. Sorry, kid. Sorry, kid. I was going for the
You
ball.
run through him like a kid that's hot from 3 against us. That I'm always saying, when you close, you got to close hard.
Yeah.
So you can't. You don't grab him because
All right.
that would look like assault.
But he feels it.
He's going to feel that elbow across the chin as you make a play on the ball.
I just check him into the board.
Yeah, you take him down.
Yep. Check him backwards though.
Sean writes, something dawned on me watching the baseball team this weekend, and I need a crack researcher to help me out. Here you go, Corey.
Okay, got it.
How many baseball games have we given up the lead in the 7th inning or beyond this year?
A lot.
He said, I think it's around 10.
Yeah, I would say a lot. I would say
more than any team in the country.
I would think.
Oh, more than any team in the country. Huh?
More than any Florida State team ever, probably.
Sean, you
it's a
came to
lot.
the right place. He said more than any team in the country.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a chance that's true, Sean. But understand they have been outscored in the 8th inning, 36-3, which is a -33 run differential in 1 inning in the late innings.
Well
It's
done.
incredible.
Well done with your Georgia math.
It's incredible.
Numbers don't mean everything. Like, you could have huge leads in all those games, and it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Right, you still only scored the 3 runs.
You
You're
know,
scoring
that
a
part
run
of
in
it
the
is
8th inning
problematic.
every 12
You
games.
got tired from beating the ball around
Yeah.
the yard all day, man. That's right. What you want me to do?
Yeah, you got the pitchers hitting.
Michael writes, boys, the transfer portal is one hell of a weight loss program. We're trimming a lot of fat. But
Nice.
if we don't bring in muscle to replace it, are we setting ourselves up for depth issues? No depth issues here, Michael. Get rid of every last one of these kids that wants out. It's a good thing. Every kid that has opted out at this point, I have celebrated their choices. This is good. There are more that need to add to the list of opt-outs at this point.
And it does feel like the real evaluations the staff has done, we felt good about.
Mhm.
Like, they have taken some transfers in the last couple of years that were not great additions.
No.
But they were kind of things like, it was during COVID where they really couldn't even see the kid. And it was just kind of like, we've got so many holes. Let's throw bodies at this problem.
Cushney never should have happened.
That's an option.
It's unbelievable.
But there's
look,
there's a couple
Jury's
other ones
still
as
out
well.
on that kid's career. He didn't get a chance here.
Yeah.
I mean, Alley Cat's son. I mean, there's been a few, but they're at a point now where I don't even think they're in that boat anymore. Like, really, anybody they add now, they can be selective about. It's not like they just have to desperately get bodies. So I think you're going to see a higher hit rate with these guys because they're not going to just take anybody anymore.
Right. I think that's correct.
Last year and the year before, they were just taking people.
Well, but they did a good job. I mean, on the whole, which I say too often, they've done a very, very good job of assessing the transfer portal, bringing in players that could change their roster for the good. They've missed on a couple, but but you're going to have.
I mean, they got half their
Because-
starters are going to be transfers.
Like, we don't talk about it, but like McKenzie brought that DB with him from UCF. who-
Yeah, that didn't work out.
And,
I mean, there's been some lackluster additions in this process, but
McKenzie himself.
Yeah, it was quite lackluster.
To say the least.
It lacked a lot of luster.
No shine at all,
No,
Corey.
yeah.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment. And simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Matt, when you think of a successful Southern cookout, what do you think of first?
The food, of course.
The food, but you got to think about the food prep. And Hearth and Patio has thought about that with their awesome grills.
What kind of grills?
Fire Magic, Broil Master, Blaze Grills, Kamado Joe. Matt, they got it all.
Wow.
Custom outdoor kitchens. Create an outdoor cooking space.
You'll be the envy of your neighborhood.
You will be the envy of your neighborhood, and you'll make a lot of people jealous. That's because you called Hearth and Patio at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or you can visit Hearth and Patio online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
It's a backyard barbecue party. Leslie Holcomb's the number one more time.
850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. The Hearth and Patio, they not only keep the home fires burning, Hearth and Patio will elevate your grilling game.
Nice.
Nice indeed.
Southeast Portable Buildings has storage sheds that range in size from as little as 6x8 or as large as 24x30 and everything in between. They offer multiple styles, materials, and color options to match your home, and they even have two-tone color options. You can choose between a steel frame or wood frame building. You know what you need to do? Call them today and go out and see them. 580-6400. That's 580-6400. Or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Sam Wright, gentlemen, thanks so much for the great work and coverage from all of you there at Warchant.
You're welcome,
love
Sam.
To hear
Appreciate
your
it, buddy.
comments regarding the blowback from the Mims coverage. It's amazing to me all the ridiculous reactions on Twitter to what was obviously an honest mistake. And thanks also for putting me on to Register Sausage, guys. My boys always want some before their flag football games on Saturday mornings. Yay, sausage.
There we go.
They're probably undefeated if they're eating registers before every flag football
there's
game.
no excuse.
Fair.
No excuse, kids.
Yes,
Mule.
Sam, we did address some of that last week, but thanks for your kind words and support. Seth writes, why can't we find a kicker? Our rivals seem to find kids off the street who crush 60-yarders with ease, yet we haven't had a decent place kicker since Roberto's sophomore year. We used to be kicker you. What's happened to us with the kickers? I like that Seth is locking in on kicker.
I think because everything else is
everything
taken care
else
of.
is all right.
I think Ricky jinxed it with some of his hijinks off the field, maybe.
It's weird, though. Like,
I think there's some karma that came with some stuff there.
Ryan is
Jeff, you agree with
Ryan,
that, maybe?
I think Ryan's better than some people think.
He
started slow last year, but he got a lot better.
Winner, yeah.
I think I think you're gonna be fine with Ryan Fitzgerald. I think.
David writes, are there too many FSU NIL collectives now? Does focusing on just one streamline things, or is it the more the merrier?
So now there's 3 prominent ones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is interesting.
But I looked it up, and there's other schools with 3. There's other schools. There's a lot of schools with 2. There's other schools with 3. And the reality is, man, this is there's no. Everybody sees it as there's no negative to having more from the people that want to get involved with it. The way they will pitch it to the athletes and the businesses is we're just adding to the mix. We're just adding more opportunities.
So I assume a kid can get one from each.
Yeah,
if you wanted.
As far as I know, there's no exclusives, and none of the kids none of them are requiring the kids to.
We
sign
should start one.
Deals. The Headlines NIL.
Yeah,
I'll give a.
But ours will go to get players off the team.
Maybe we should.
I'm in on that now.
Yeah,
let's go. Let's sweeten the pot. Let's go.
We found a different niche.
So here we got the 3 of us.
This is our old avenue.
Seminole Headlines NIL, the third-party entity. We walk into the tight end room, and we're like, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good to see you all." All right, so here's what we're about to propose, and then boom, and I would feed them. I'd feed them.
Of course, charcuterie board.
We
probably.
established that.
They're all like, "Why isn't Cameron in here? Why isn't McDonald in here?"
No, he's got his own deal. He's got a different deal. It's just we've settled on you 3.
The rest of you,
U3, U5, how many ever there are. Yeah, that's a unpursued option so far, I think, that we find our own little avenue in.
Jet writes, and I like this question because it gives me a chance to kind of make an observation.
But you guys do think that like that will, I mean, competition, I guess, breeds.
Well, it's not really.
more
I think the way everybody's presenting is it's not competition. It's just adding more opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not like taking away.
Hey, maybe they don't want to do something, but they do. Yeah. And they're all helping Florida
And
State.
they're all reaching out to businesses. They're all reaching out.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm saying.
As long as they're all in the up and up, right, and run by people you trust, I guess, and that's part of it.
And that's the challenge.
And the
with
players
this
have to trust them.
And that's the challenge with this Florida law is that the school really can't get involved.
Right.
So you're kind of at the mercy of whatever the hell people do.
I'd break that law.
Yeah. I think Miami probably does.
Established that.
I think Miami probably
I'd be
does.
breaking the hell out of that law.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even. It would be like it's a ghost to me. That law. Chet writes, which team in each Power 5 conference has the best and worst fans? You can define best and worst as you wish. All right, a couple things here. Obviously, Miami has the worst fan base in the history of sport.
Yeah.
There's
no hyperbole there either.
That's just straight to it. That is obvious. It's everybody agrees with that. Everybody. I think Miami fans might agree with it too. I actually sat next to a Miami graduate in the rain game when we won down there. Okay, he was awesome. Got a buddy of mine is friends with a huge Miami booster, a Miami graduate. He's a doctor. And so we went to the game and sat in their seats because his wife was pregnant. And there's other guys, his best friends, sitting there, wondered why two Noles just plopped down in this the one section of actual Miami alum, right? And who have nice seats. And we were like, no, we're not like you guys. We're cool. We'll be fine. We'll be really nice.
Yeah.
And by the midway through the first quarter, it was firmly established everybody was cool. And he said, yeah, it's tough. We have to overcome our fans. He admitted it.
Yeah.
He knows that their fans are ass.
And that was 14 years ago. It's only gotten worse.
Well, what's
now because they're dressing up like Darth Vader.
Yeah, they've been doing that a long time.
I mean, but it seems like it's that was before the turnover chain. I mean, it has gotten out of control.
Your kids aren't at the age yet where they're going to start doing their college trips, but going through that with Molly and Alexa, when you go on their college trip stuff, they don't even talk about sports.
No, they don't talk about sports.
It's not even like in Gainesville.
Because it's a good school. It's an actual good school.
But Gainesville and Florida State are good schools too. But it's part of the experience. On UM's campus, it's not even discussed.
Because the people that go to those games, the passionate freaks that go to those games, never step foot on that campus.
Of course, they're at Foot Locker getting they're at Hobbit Sports getting their shoulder pads, their spiked shoulder pads, and their gorilla masks.
Anyhow, so that said, I will also say this: there are terrible fans everywhere.
Florida State has
them. Florida has them. Georgia has them. Alabama has them. You go to the wrong place at the wrong time around the wrong group, you will walk away from that experience thinking that fan base sucks.
It's like me with Northern Illinois. Screw that school and screw that fan base.
Right.
Just from one
weekend
game
in
interaction.
Bowl in which, I made the mistake. I think everybody does in their youth. Going to games all the time at 20, 21, 22 years old and having a bad experience with the fan base and thinking, well, that's who they are. Yeah. It's not who they are. It's who they were. Those people were on that day. Except Miami. And that is universally true about Miami.
and maybe Notre Dame.
Who does suck? And I've been there multiple times, and every time they sucked.
I liked them when I was there.
Awful people.
But they're
awful people.
That
awful
city. Terrible
city. Yeah.
And those people. I mean, they think. I mean, look, man, they feel like they invented the sport.
Yeah, it's awful. But I'm not going to do this for all Power 5 conferences, Jet. I will tell you that I am biased, but admittedly, Nebraska and Oklahoma have great fans.
For sure. Oklahoma's good.
Great. Yep. You can go through. I don't know a lot about the Pac-12. I can't tell you.
Not a fan of NC State. Didn't love the Oregon people. I'll be honest with you during the whole
at that game. But I'm sure if you went to an Oregon game like Oregon versus whomever,
they're just hacky sacking and
but
smoking.
The whole Jameis Mariota.
You know who oddly was a terrible fan base? Colorado when we went out there.
Oh yeah.
I was stunned that those hippies cared enough. About their sorry program, which had been terrible for years when we went out there.
I mean, they were stoned before being stoned was cool.
And they were yelling at me for wearing a Florida State shirt as I was in Boulder, walking up to a restaurant in the middle of hours before the night game. They were screaming at us. You're high. What is your problem? Go eat a piece of pizza and chill out. You guys haven't mattered in a long time, dude.
Yeah, it's been a long time since 1990.
Yeah, I mean, their coach went on to start Promise Keepers or whatever the hell that was, but it didn't work
out.
That
was a time, man. That was a time. That team.
Yeah. Oh, that team is a fun one to go back through. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, gentlemen. If you knew FSU baseball would sweep a regional, where would you rather have them win? Tennessee, Georgia, Vanderbilt? And also, can anybody explain why Dallas Baptist, with the same record as FSU, is number 4 in the RPI? Well, I'd
really?
have to look at the strength of
Did I mention
schedule.
them earlier? That was crazy.
Yeah, they are. Where would we prefer it? How's LSU this year?
They're okay. Not great.
I like
They're
going back to
they're like
home.
Florida State.
I want to go back
They're
there.
right
I
there.
love that. That was fun.
I mean, Vanderbilt would be cool to just be in downtown Nashville.
Oh, which
That'd
I
be
love
fun.
Nashville. It's a good city. Yeah.
I would say that. I think I'd say I don't need to go to Knoxville.
You
Plus,
want no part of that team.
No, you don't want any part of
We
that.
could go to
team either.
Dallas if Dallas Baptist hopes.
Yeah, that's true. I think Nashville's my answer. I think I'd want to go to Vanderbilt, see that stadium, and just be in the city, be in the heart of the city.
Athens is great. We could go to Georgia.
They already did it. Did it 3 years ago.
But I didn't get to go, so it's just about me.
Well, you could have gone.
Definitely barring a sweep of Miami and maybe TCU, yeah, they'll be going on the road.
By the way, I did look it up, folks, because that's what I do. I do research. Florida State does lead the entire country in pitching strikeouts. And
that's impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah,
473.
That's what we do there.
And they lead all of the Power 5 in batting strikeouts with 418. The only other team in the country in the Power 5 over 400
Yin
is
and
Clemson.
yang, buddy. You got, what are you going to do?
So I did the math. It's like 880 strikeouts in 38 games. So every Florida State game is an average of 23.4 strikeouts. Combined. It's great. It's a great product.
It's a toughie.
It's tough to watch. It can be tough to watch, guys. It can be tough to watch.
Brandon writes, you get one choice in the portal. If all current players would stay regardless, would you rather take a quarterback prospect guaranteed to be better than, say, Sean McGuire, or an offensive tackle guaranteed to be better than 2020 Love Taylor?
The tackle.
Yeah, I'd say the tackle.
go
Because I don't
tackle.
know that quarterback beats out Jordan.
No,
Yeah.
he's saying the quarterback would beat out Tate, right?
Well,
like you'd have a better second
I
stringer.
assume.
Yeah, but I want a better starting tackle.
Yeah, because that guy doesn't sound like he'd be much better than Rodemaker at all. And so, yeah.
Do you guys expect a transfer commit this week or after May the 1st? That's from Jay.
What are you hearing, Ira?
I have not heard anything about any
Oh.
transfers that are imminent, so I would assume after. This week is mostly just about guys going in for that deadline.
Squin writes, which Nole player winning ACC Player of the Year would be best for our win-loss results this year? So
Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
Is that one of the choices?
Well, I just jumped on that. You're right. And he says, then why would it be Winston Wright? If Winston Wright plays, that'd be great. But to your point, Jordan Travis.
If Jordan Travis is the ACC Player of the Year, you've done some things.
Ira, he sent a picture along, and it's great. He says, by the way, I found this yarn house in Virginia Beach for Ira. Look at that, buddy. He's got
It's
a
a
big
house
old-
of yarn.
It's
It's a big house of yarn.
Yeah, there it is. There you go. Do not show your lovely wife.
We're actually
You guys will be on your way to yarnclubknits.com.
so we're talking about some vacation plans
Oh,
coming up
no.
for the summer.
Don't tell about that.
And they are a little bit curious about yarn possibilities, and also now you'll be impressed by this.
Okay, here we go.
Alexa's showing some interest in vinyl.
Hey!
So
here we
now we're starting
go.
talking about record shops along these.
So let me
spots.
help out. I'm
Yeah,
here
but we'll
for you.
talk to you.
I don't
I'm in,
understand the
buddy.
thing about yarn, though. What do you mean they're showing interest in yarn?
Well, they're already trying to figure out like what yarn shops
Who
are
is
in some
they?
of the.
The
I know,
girls.
The whole
all-
gang?
They all do it.
They're all
Chappelle
into yarn?
girls.
They don't
cult,
do anything
man.
you're into, do
Whose
they? They all
daughter-
take off their mom.
Whose daughters
Well,
are they?
But
I mean,
you
what do you
would
think's
think
gonna happen?
You would think that just it's yarn, guys.
Agreed.
It's not the
problem is-
1880s.
the
There's
problem-
other cool stuff
The
out
problem
there.
is there's no resistance. There's no resistance movement.
Oh, right.
Like I'm not fighting against it.
Well, you
So
pick your
you
battles.
can't dictate a summer trip though based on yarn.
No,
I mean,
we're not.
Okay,
God,
all right. Just
no.
want to make sure with that.
Yarn
but
and
you
vinyl.
Can, but you can vinyl.
Yarn and
Yeah,
vinyl.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yarn and vinyl. Well, that's the best of both worlds.
That's a little bit more wholesome. I typically say, where are the best bars?
Right,
And my
right.
wife goes,
Yeah.
our kids are too young. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? I'm just saying.
Just find out where they are.
Yeah.
Find out what the brewery is.
Tom writes, if Jeff had $44 billion, how many offensive linemen would he buy? Yeah.
Man, think about if you had that money, how good Florida State would be
Ooh,
right now.
very good.
I mean, they'd be the best team in the
I'd be
country.
bored. We'd be so good.
Right. And that's the thing. You're not looking for an ROI. You don't care about a return on investment.
No, I care about
You
kicking
just
that
want-
ass.
Yeah, as far as the players selling product for you,
Wins,
you just
baby.
want the dubs.
Wins. I would also be ruthless. I'd be like, I'm giving you $600,000. Don't suck.
Well,
What
right.
was also funny on the Levitard show is since Mike is very involved in that process, he's like getting involved in that whole process. And he's like, if the NCAA does come after us, which he thinks they will at some point, the way Miami's acting, he's like, we now talk to these kids about what other schools are offering. And so he's like, I will be singing about everything that's happening at College Station and somebody's
Right,
like, because
yeah.
these kids are telling them, hey, this is what that's going to be challenging to this whole thing.
Not to him.
No.
You're going to just outbid whoever you have to outbid. It'll be like
Absolutely.
the auctions.
Jonesing for FSU writes, so with how this season is going on the diamond, I'm sure the hate's going to pour in. Is Mike Martin Jr. the equivalent of Jeff Bowden? No, far more knowledgeable, already more successful.
But also the 20 years he was an assistant coach, he did put up really good offenses, and they won a lot of games. And
which
he was
is all the more puzzling for what we're seeing
They are
currently.
last in the ACC in runs scored. They are dead last in the ACC in runs scored, which makes no sense because they used to lead the country in runs scored.
Even like they would have players, even during those years, they would have, I mean, you felt like he could take like a box of rocks and get them to get hit by pitches 28 times.
Yeah.
Draws 75 walks.
I was more intrigued by convincing kids to wear baseballs as frequently as they did than anything else. I mean, like, how do you convince it? Because I don't care who you are, getting hit by a baseball sucks.
Yeah.
And by the way, people are like, oh, that was a curveball. No, that hurts too. Let me throw a baseball off of you at
83
60
miles an hour.
Yeah, you tell
81,
me it's all right. Yeah.
It still hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah, you're right. So but Jeff Bowden wasn't
competent.
Yeah, he wasn't good at his job as an assistant. Clearly, Mike Martin Jr. was, and this is bizarre.
Take some time, man.
I mean, we'll
see.
We'll see.
Last one before we break here. Noel Tiggity, which I think is a great title. Noel Tiggity's good. Good day, fellas. I have two. Will Corey stop looking like a scared kid about to have his lunch money taken from him when pumping gas after the new Wawa is being built in Tallahassee?
I'm very, very excited about that.
He goes, yes, friends, Wawa is coming. And I did think of you. I saw that story.
Somebody asked me at the chain of parks. At the park, somebody asked me if you knew about the Wawa.
I tweeted about it. It's about
well lit.
It's incredibly
Every
well lit.
Wawa you've ever been to is blinding.
You might feel safe.
Is it possible though that Tallahassee brings it down just because of what Tallahassee convenience stores are? Like,
I think Wawa can rise above it. I think Wawa will rise above it and raise our expectations. But you never know. It could be pulled
the
down
rising
in the muck.
tide, right? Is raising all the others.
But Tallahassee
Circle
might be
K
the
is
muck.
going to ascend to greatness because of Wawa.
There's so many people in this town that have lived here their whole lives that have no idea what a gas station like this looks like. They're not going to know how to act.
The lines are going to be down.
They're
going
to be outrageous. Yeah.
What if
other
we
one,
get a Busy Bee or a Chucky's or whatever the hell they're
Buc-ee's.
called?
Buc-ee's, yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Or
Yeah,
a QT. Can we get a QT?
just a QT, but a Wawa is a great start.
I
It's
miss
certainly
old
better.
mobiles.
Oh yeah,
I miss
Chevron,
a
like
good
old
old
Chevron.
mobile. I miss them.
A Gulf oil station.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Local news now.
A name change could soon be coming to Cascades Park and its amphitheater. Leon County Commissioner Bill Proctor says that at the next commissioners meeting, he'll ask to call Cascades Park at Smoky Hollow, and the amphitheater the Cannonball and Julian Adderley Performance Center. The Adderleys were jazz musicians who lived in Tallahassee while their parents taught at Florida A&M University. Proctor says he wants to add the names so that nobody forgets the people and the neighborhoods that came before. He'll need 4 commissioners to vote yes on the proposal before it can be made into an agenda item for a later meeting. 30 names were added to the Florida Sheriff's Association's memorial wall that lists officers who died in the line of duty. President of the Florida Sheriff's Association and Levi County Sheriff Bobby McCallum said this year's edition of names is the largest one they've ever had, adding that he estimates around half of those deputies died from COVID-19 complications. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered rain showers. Highs level off around 86. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight. Lows dip down to about 60. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Highs level off around 84 tomorrow. Sunny skies and calm. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down After a first blind date, she discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown, starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Series of good questions here, boys, in the final segment of the day. Blue or red Doritos? One of them's ranch.
The bags,
other one's
purple. I'm purple.
Oh, you
The
like
purple
the
ones are-
hottest ones? Are they?
It's like they're
spicy
like a
chili,
sweet and spicy.
Sweet, yeah. I don't. I'm not trying to be aloof. I don't eat Doritos, but
I haven't in a while, but it would always be the Cool Ranch. That's been my go-to for decades.
my kids vehemently disagree on this. One is a Cool Ranch kid. The other kid just likes the classic cheese Doritos.
Throw the purple out there and see what happens.
One of them will occasionally go spicy chili. I think that's the one you're talking about. DJ writes, will FSU make a bowl game?
Have you ever had the Takis?
Yes,
My
my
kids-
my youngest loves them.
Brady
Alexa
eats
loves
them.
them.
I don't have it.
I couldn't do it. You wouldn't. Your gastrointestinal problems.
But
you
that's
gotta
the
make-
thing.
yeah.
So then Alexa loves
I have
them.
to drink this nonsense.
Look at this with no flavor.
Not this one.
What?
No,
Oh, this
one.
guy! I've
and I
never
have
seen
it.
it.
I
I've
have
never
my-
seen you do
I
it.
have my Mios, but I didn't even use it. this
Look
time.
at you.
I should just do one squirt for this.
Like
last
a
sip.
grown up, he's
Yeah.
drinking a bottle of water.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Like
But I'm
the
doing
other
my
day,
best.
the other day, Alexa's like, I wish they tasted like this, but without the spiciness. Like, isn't that the whole point?
That's the whole
of
point.
Takis?
That's like
Yeah.
saying I like this Kit Kat. I just wish what is
No,
was it chocolate?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Central Florida Noel writes, if Travis goes down in game one, knock on wood that he doesn't, can we still reasonably expect a bowl game?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't think
I
so.
wouldn't.
I
like,
wouldn't
I would.
reasonably
Yeah,
ex- no,
I wouldn't.
I'd
be,
say no.
yeah. It's
Would a 5
not out of the question.
right. Would a 5-7 record in that case still doom Norvell to eventually be fired, considering the circumstance? Okay, yes, it would. This cannot
It
happen.
wouldn't be done. It wouldn't be set in stone, but it puts them as a hot seat coach going into that next year. And it
It's-
is your fault. This is the QB depth chart. If you can go from an 8 or 9 win team, maybe 8-ish win team, to a non-bowl team because of your starting quarterback getting hurt. You know, it's a bummer, but everybody would be just
Yeah, man,
it would be hard to.
I'm going to answer the question. Yes, he's screwed. He has to hope it doesn't happen. All right. In my opinion, okay, never mind. That's not good.
And to that point, to put it back on him and not just like something bad happened, you know, he did have a choice to believe in Tate and AJ as the backup.
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Maybe Tate just keeps on climbing. I don't understand. I really don't understand why. Are we done with Facebook? Did you run through all those?
I'm going to go back. We have
Because
time.
these guys, again, Twitter let us down last week. Like Twitter wasn't
Twitter
there in our
didn't have a
darkest
choice
day.
to let. I abstained.
Right. That
on Twitter.
says everything we didn't know about the Twitter questions.
7-5 seems like our fate with this roster and schedule, right, Sam? Which of these 5+ most likely losses do you think we can overcome? LSU, Clemson, Florida, NC State, combination of Wake, Louisville, Miami.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree that 2 of those are likely losses. I don't know that LSU's a likely loss.
I would say they're the least likely of those
Of that
teams.
group, but I do think Clemson's a likely loss. I think Florida's a likely loss. I think NC State's.
I don't know
I'm
about
not sure
Florida.
about Florida,
Yeah, I don't
man.
think about
We can
Florida
say we're not sure. I'm gonna agree with Sam here. I think it's likely a loss.
I don't think that. I think those two are probably my
they
least
upgraded
likely.
to quarterback, guys.
Well, who knows if he'll be playing in November, buddy? Who knows if he'll
I
be
mean,
playing
who
in
knows
November?
if he's going to be playing through a game? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, so I just I would say of those the least likely of sure loss would definitely be LSU, and I don't even know if I would even say it's a sure loss.
I would think at Miami above those two, honestly. If I'm thinking about a game that I think
All right,
is
so
more
how
like
about this?
more
Let
likely
me
a loss.
finish this question because this is okay. Let me get this out here because this is kind of fun exercise. 7-5 seems like our fate with the roster and schedule that we have. Which of these 5+ most likely losses do you think we can overcome? All right, we can disagree.
Does that mean which one they
Hold
can
on.
win?
Yes.
Okay.
can overcome. LSU, Clemson, Florida, NC State, and then a combination of Wake, Louisville, Miami. Yes, that's 7 potential losses, I know, but talk me into 7 and 5 was the rest of his question.
Right.
All right, well, Ira's going to tell you we're going to beat LSU, and I'm not knocking you. I'm saying that you're going to say, based on what you just said.
I don't think Wake is a likely loss, and he's throwing 3 of them in there.
Right,
is like a catch-all.
Yeah, catch-all, right.
So we don't have to dispute them all. To me, I just think the most likely losses, I think there's
NC
3.
State's pretty high on that list.
I think NC State, I think Clemson, and I think
Miami on the road.
I think Miami on the road.
I think Miami on the road. That's a problem.
Those 3 are the 3 that, man, they have to really do something to believe that they're going to win those games.
Yeah.
All the other ones, man,
But here's the
I
reason
wouldn't bet against Florida State losing to Wake Forest or at Louisville.
I wouldn't either.
The Louisville game, you got that extra week, whereas they're playing the week before on the road.
Yeah. But the reason you have hope is those 3 likely losses. Clemson, you lost by essentially a field goal last year at Clemson. At Miami, you beat them last year. In NC State, you lost by a 1 possession when Jordan Travis didn't play. Right. So you're not overwhelmed by any of these.
No, you could make the case that they did get conservative in the second half when they were up big. NC State. That's fair to say.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I think NC State could have.
That could have been a 35-40 point loss. I mean, that's what it looked like it was going to be.
Well, I think it wasn't, though. Was it, Ira?
It
wasn't.
Good point.
It wasn't a 30-40 point
Looked
loss.
like for a while there that we were going to pull away from Jacksonville State, too, but
yeah, didn't quite happen.
It didn't happen.
Once you got down 1st and goal around the 7, you thought, okay, this game's over.
How many successful seasons would Norvell have to happen before people bring up Jacksonville State?
It may never happen.
I don't know.
Think about this. We never forgave Jimbo for NC State. He won a national championship.
The next year. Yeah.
We still
13
don't
months
forgive
later.
him. We still don't
yeah,
forgive
I don't
him.
never forgive him.
Well, all right, but the difference there is that if that game doesn't happen, that team may play for a national title because they don't lose to Florida.
Yeah.
And they'd be undefeated.
Look, you can't lose to a team like that and not have it hold over you.
Yeah,
for
no,
a
we'll
long
always
time
remember
to
it.
come.
Even if
it
we
doesn't mean that he can't go on to have a great career. It just means that we'll never get over that loss. It's a terrible loss.
It's not even like Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe in his first year, but that.
At what point can he joke about it?
Oh,
like
2 years later, he doesn't joke about losses, I'm sure, but that loss is 1,000 times better than that Jacksonville State nonsense. That's never going away. Never.
All right, Brad writes, to my favorite podcasters and Ira.
Ooh, sorry, Ira. Sorry,
and he
buddy.
writes, just kidding. I love you, Ira, and I appreciate you facing the music. Gents, do you feel like our decline coinciding with our uniform change was just a coincidence? Or do you think the ignition tradition curse is valid? Could Norvell get some brownie points by changing back?
He definitely could.
What would each of you change them to be? Love the show. The
Are
practice
you
uniforms.
talking about logos or uniforms?
I think the uniforms just, they don't look like. I mean, they've gotten a little. They don't look like Boston College.
They look
as
much better
as
now. They got the white numbers back too.
Yeah, that helped.
I think we look downright regal when we wear the white with the garnet up here on the sleeve and the
regal, huh?
Regal.
Where do you think "Face the Music" comes from? What's that in reference to when you're?
You're about to be shot and they play a little.
They play a little ditty.
Trumpet or something.
They play a little ditty, and you have to look at the guy playing the horn.
Yeah.
Do you get to request the song though?
I mean,
you get to request your last
I read
meal.
that. Yeah, you definitely get to request what music's playing when you walk in.
I'd like a mariachi band.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to take you a week to find that? Okay, that's
fine.
I'll
I need the best in the world. Yeah.
Zach writes, with Montgomery's consistency issues as a starter, why not make the move to use him as a closer? We agree, Zach. We agree.
Absolutely.
If I need 3 outs, I feel pretty good about the guy who can throw 97. We agree.
Right.
We agree. Also, what do you think should be done about the Sunday starter issue? Ira's for Johnny Holstaff. Yes. Corey, you got an option for Sunday?
I just think that works as well as anything else.
Crowell, I agree with you on Crowell.
Give him a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he did pitch well after Montgomery soiled himself, so maybe give him a shot. But I just think Montgomery's too good to not affect. He's got too much electric stuff to not affect the game. It affect more than one game in a weekend.
Hassan writes, "What's up, fellas? You can tell me about that in a moment, Corey." After seeing Scotty Barnes win Rookie of the Year, I was very happy for him. I do wonder if we could have gotten more out of him when he was here. I think a lot of people wonder that. We've talked about this before. Do you see any other Scotty Barnes level players coming to Florida State, or will Scotty be the last of those kinds of players for a while? I love the show. Thanks. Thank you, Hassan.
That's a fair question, but I mean, he was.
We used him as the 6th man.
But I mean, no, I was going to the second part of it because
okay.
he impacted the games. I mean, he was in the games 2 minutes into the games. Yeah. It's not like he was sitting out.
No, I know.
But as far as like that level of player, I mean, I think Cleveland's got a similar ceiling. Maybe this year, especially if he could shoot it, man. like he would be an elite basketball player, but there just aren't many Scotty Barnes. I mean, that's a once in a generation physically
And
kind of player.
NIL is a difference now. Are they going to go do what they have to do? To
I
get
am worried
the number
for Florida
4
State
player in the
basketball. I
country?
actually think the NIL landscape has changed them for the negative for a while.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a problem. I don't know that we're going to get, and also some other things, obviously, with assistant coaches leaving. I think it's going to be more problematic for Florida State to get the caliber of players that they've brought in over the last 5-6 years.
Well, and you wonder about, like, you say you have a kid like Jalen Worley for some reason has a great, I shouldn't say some reason, he's a talented player. Say he has a great sophomore year, but he's still not an NBA ready guy. But he's all ACC second team. Well, he could probably go,
I will say this.
Go and enhance his bank account at another school that cares more about basketball.
I will say this though, there is a group of people who do want to support FSU basketball in those endeavors.
Well, that's us.
So
we're in there. We've started our
Let's go.
third
Let's
party.
make it
So
I thought you guys were doing the NIL deal to like get
we're
players
doing
to
both.
leave.
We're doing both. We're getting those players to leave, getting basketball players to stay. A commonly repeated assertion for the Face the Music is it originated from the tradition of disgraced officers being drummed out of their regiment.
Oh.
A second popular theory is that it was actors who faced the music, that is, faced the orchestra pit when they went on stage.
I think that's the answer.
It could be.
Yeah.
Nobody can agree on it. It's not like
why did actors have to face them?
Well, because the orchestra's in front, so they're facing the audience.
Yeah.
So face the music to project your voice.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
You think it's the disgraced
I'm not
soldiers?
buying that one either because I mean you can play all the music you want. I'm not leaving. I'm staying.
Well, yeah. Well, then you're going to get shot.
Like me and those drug dealers my freshman year.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't drum you out, did they?
No.
They didn't play their little
No.
Casio SK1 and play you
Nice
out.
reference.
It wouldn't have worked.
Real quick, just because this is a great question from Charlie and it was funny and we're not going to have time to answer it, but he doesn't really want us to, so it's great. He writes, some people have said that there will be a cooling off period for these billionaire investors, but I don't see that being a reality. What's a few million a year in expenses for a billionaire, especially when they can write it off as a legitimate business expense?
Yeah.
So my sports question is, how would you reform the U.S. tax system so that it doesn't favor the super wealthy NIL donors? Please take into account offshore tax havens,
right.
carbon taxation, corporate tax reform in your comprehensive plan for the United States new tax laws.
That's fine. We'll address that next week. It's a great question.
I like that he's getting to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, right.
Or if you guys want to take it tomorrow on Wake Up Warchant, or if you want to take it
I
up
can
on the
take it
JCS,
JCS tomorrow afternoon.
you guys can. So don't
You'll
feel like
have
you
a-
need to wait on
You'll
me.
have a well-reasoned, thought-out
I
way
will.
to
I got
combat
time.
this. Yeah, I know you do.
You've been working on it.
Yeah, well, it's instantaneously. I have some thoughts, but we don't have time.
We don't have time. That's too bad.
Yeah,
Flat tax is the answer, I think.
Flat tax?
I'll
All right.
incorporate that. I thought about it.
All right.
Good call. Music's going to start in a minute. I've
We're
got some
gonna play-
gambling
we're
to
gonna
do
face
in
the
golf.
music. We're gonna face the
Time
music
to
here.
face the music. Here we go. Good job, Director Matthew. Good job to all of you listening and those that posed positive questions. For Corey, for Ira, I'm Jeff. Thanks so much. Be good, everybody. Peace.